Good morning, Raptor freaks. Lexiot's here, and today we're previewing the Raptors at Chicago Bulls tonight, 8 o'clock a.m. start Eastern Time, United Center. That's right. No trivia today, guys. No trivia today. We're previewing the basketball game tonight for the Bulls and the Raptors. That's right, baby. And I'm going to switch things up just a little bit right now. I'm still trying the order of things and how I'm going to do things. So we're going to start out with the latest lineup news first, and we'll do the marquee main event matchup at the end of the stream. I'm going to try it that way today. So we're going to do the latest lineup, and we're going to do the ref report right now. So first of all, the Bulls played on Sunday also, and they held out their whole starting lineup for the most part. We didn't see Vucevic or Derozan or Levine. A lot of their main guys didn't play in their last preseason game. So they should be ready to play today. I mean, a lot of them are listed as day-to-day, but it really is lingering from the game before when they were day-to-day and they didn't play in the last game. I expect both teams today to show up with their team fully healthy. Everybody that can go is going to play. And I expect today to be a competitive game, a game where the Raptors in some ways have some things to prove from the embarrassment of the play-in loss. So I don't expect a lot of guys to be sitting. Now, we do know that Precious is questionable for the Raptors. He did participate in practice fully yesterday, so he should maybe play today, but no, don't hold your breath. And then Otto, once again, Darkos saying yesterday after practice, Otto's been out for a year, so we're really being precautious with bringing him back in. So I don't even know if we can expect Otto to come back today either. Koloko, no news on him at all. Don't expect him at all. And we're also hearing that Jakob Poeltl is still under the weather. His birthday was on Sunday. He got his birthday off, but he's not feeling well. And he may not be playing today also. So our big men are kind of ailing right now between Koloko, Precious, and Jakob. So we may be lacking size, and this could be an issue with Vucevic if he is going to play tonight. Well, we'll have to see. Once again, it's preseason. It doesn't count. In some ways, it's a tune-up game to see where we're at and where they're at. And in some ways, we shouldn't take too much into it, but we should, because this is the team that put us out for our year last year. And in some ways, Scotty has said on Twitch in the last 2 weeks that he is very embarrassed by the play-in loss and how the Raptors went out like that with such a good lead in the second half and missing so many free throws. Of course, the press yesterday over-analyzing the free throw shit. Y'all asked some of the dumbest questions, and I know y'all are trying to pull threads apart on this team. Gary Trent Jr. in the media scrum yesterday, and he's getting barraged with questions about whether he's starting or off the bench, and they're projecting feelings on him, which I hate. Don't do this, Michael Grange, you fucking piece of shit. Put your emotions and how he should feel about whether he's starting or not on him. You're projecting, you assholes. And he is fine with not starting. He's going to get his no matter what. He's going to get his minutes. He's going to get his scoring because Gary Trent Jr.'s philosophy is, I'm going to play so good, coach cannot sit me. He cannot bench me. And that's the thing. He may be like, oh, I wish I was starting. But this is the better look. And I wish these reporters were more educated in their minds, in their brains, you idiots. You've been watching basketball as long as me, Grange. You're around my age, you idiot. You understand there's good, valuable bench players on a team also, Michael Grange, don't you? Why do y'all downgrade it or try and slight him? It's almost like you're putting an insult on him. Oh, you're off the bench now, Gary. Oh, it's not a big fucking deal. And y'all are going to find out even more how less of a big deal it is as the season goes on. When the press write the questions like that, they make uneducated basketball fans think that it matters whether you start or not. And that's the thing I hate. So quit that shit with your questions. Y'all did it to Darko and Gary yesterday. And Gary doesn't give a shit about starting in some ways. Sure, in an ideal world, he would start. And he said that. But honestly, he's good enough to not start and he'll be fine. So I'm sick of those questions. And then the other questions they were asking, they're just so stupid. Oh my gosh. You guys ask such dumb questions sometimes. Asking about the free throws. They literally asked Darko Rajakovic yesterday after practice. How do you simulate the really tough situations of a whole building with free throws and high pressure free throws? You dumb motherfuckers. You guys act like you don't know basketball, like you don't understand fucking basketball. How do you do that? You don't, you dumbasses. You can't simulate it like that. All you do is what Gary said. You try and shoot a certain amount in order, and if you don't, you're doing suicides up and down the court, running all over the place. I hate these questions. They come from uneducated, dumbass reporters that ask the stupidest shit. Like, seriously, how do you do that? You can't. You just shoot a lot of free throws and practice free throws. Oh my gosh. And y'all are acting like they're doing any more practicing free throws for this game today. No, they're not. They do it all the time anyway. It's the most stupidest reporting core in the NBA in some ways. Like, seriously, y'all are dumb. Seriously, I'm sorry. I'm giving up on y'all. And I'm sad because I see good reporters like Orrin Weisfeld and Samson Folk asking stupid ass questions now these days. So, yeah, y'all asking bench or starting for Gary and then asking them about shooting free throws. So stupid. Oh my gosh, so stupid. So, officially on our injury report, Koloko is looking like he's out. It says he's day to day, but he's out. Parter's probably going to be out today. And like I said, Precious is probably out and Pirtle. The other guys should all be a go. So we should be okay with that. All right. Our ref report for tonight is very interesting. We're getting a referee that we have exactly 50% wins with. 50% we win when he's around as David Guthrie. David Guthrie is from Athens, Georgia. He went to high school in Birmingham, Alabama. His favorite TV show is The West Wing. He likes to listen to the Eagles. His favorite place to visit is Hawaii. He'd like to visit there. His favorite meal is steak with potatoes and broccoli. David Guthrie is a senior official tonight. He played minor league baseball for the Reds. So he's a former baseball player also. We don't mind David Guthrie overall. In some ways, he's annoying. We win 50% of the time when David's around, as I said. And the Bulls win 45% of the time. So our crew chief, David Guthrie, slightly favors the Raptors historically in game winning percentage. Our second ref is longtime ref Scott Twardowski. He's from Washington State. His favorite TV show is MASH. That's going way back. His favorite meal is steak and mushrooms. So it looks like we're going to be a steak day. These guys need steak. He'd most like to visit Norway. And he worked as an English teacher before he was a referee. And also worked as a speaker for 5 years at the Learning for Living in Meadow Vista, California. So he's a very charitable guy. He's done a lot of really cool stuff for different charities also. So Scott Twardowski, you're a good dude. Now, he is not a nice referee to us in some ways. We win 48% of the time when he's around. So that's less than Guthrie and less than our overall winning percentage as a franchise in our history. And the Bulls win 56% of the time. So second ref Scott favors the Bulls. So we got two refs that favor each team. Guthrie's on favors us, and then Twardowski favors the other team. The third ref is Inte Hwang, who's in his first season out of South Korea. He's been a fill-in ref at times in past years, but he's a full-time ref this year for the first time. I have no stats on him with games with the Raptors and the Bulls. So he is exactly 0-0 on both sides. I know he's ref some of our games, and he does have stats, but they're not available to me right now because there are not enough of them. So we do have the South Korean ref. His favorite movie is Parasite. His favorite musician is Yem Jae Bom, and he likes Korean barbecue. So in some ways, we can get some meat on the grill for these referees today. That would be good. Some Korean barbecue for Inte Hwang, and then some steaks for the other gentleman. That would be good. Yeah, Hwang enjoys spending time outdoors with his family, going to the library, and eating at Korean restaurants. So there you go. Inte Hwang, Scott Twardowski, and David Guthrie are our referees tonight for the Chicago Bulls Toronto Raptors game at United Center. There you go. All right, let me check in with you guys in the comments. There's your ref report. It's very even. Honestly, it's very, very even. Could go either way. I don't see either team getting a favor from the refs. It should be right down the line. And it'll be interesting to see the young Inte Hwang. And David Guthrie, we know him very well. We know him very well. Hopefully, he'll be nice to us today. Nameless is first in the comments this morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning to you, Nameless. And he's saying that he who shall not be named said that we should have beaten the Taipans by more. Yeah, that's just his opinion. Once again, if we can not talk about him, that'd be great, especially when it's something as innocuous as that. There's a lot of bozos out there that have a lot of weird opinions about different things right now. And in some ways, that is just not even that important. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. Well, we beat him by 40, you dumbass, idiot Robert. So, yeah, just shut your damn trap, is what I'm saying. Nameless is saying, doesn't he realize that there's absolutely nothing to gain by beating them by 60? It's maddening because he brags about being smarter than everybody else. Well, that's your first sign that he's an idiot. Anybody who's like that, who has to brag about how smart they are in certain ways, there's a problem there. In some ways, he gives himself away all the time. And seriously, just Questo Sino, whatever that means, get him out of there. Nameless saying he's not half as smart as he thinks he is. There you go. There you go, Nameless. You figured it out. So let's not even go there. Seriously, he should become more and more in the dark and just go away, like Homer into the bush, please. Yeah. Trevor J's here. Good morning to Trevor J. Good morning, Raptors family. Happy Tuesday. No trivia today, Trevor, because we got a game today. It's preview. No trivia today. I'm at the gaming. I told him that in Scotty's Twitch on Saturday. I said, no trivia this Tuesday, Amit. We have a game that day. So Amit knew coming in that we weren't going to have trivia today. Let's go, Trevor J. It's time to play, baby. Let's get back against the Bulls. DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine. Let's go. Nacho the Nacho is here, holding it down in Mississauga for us. Fact, the Toronto Raptors were better than the Bulls last season, and the Toronto Raptors are better than the Bulls this season. This is a great point, Gerald, and I agree with it. We had a better record than the Bulls did last season. We ended up finishing behind them only because they beat us in the play-in game, and that was ridiculous. We should have never lost that. That was totally partly Nick Nurse sabotaging our team with all kinds of bad vibes and weirdness about his statements in Philadelphia a couple weeks before. And then the team just kind of like rolled over and died. He did not coach them very well in the second half of that game, and he lost his job, and rightfully so. So I love what you're saying. I really feel like the Toronto Raptors have improved dramatically this offseason, and a lot of people are sleeping on that. People think because Fred left and Nick left that we automatically got worse, but that is not the truth. In some ways, our coach is a breath of fresh air, and he's going to fix a very stagnated offense for the last 2 years. We got a FIBA World Cup MVP who's our starting point guard now. We got a nice young player named Jalen McDaniels that's ready to contribute and do some amazing big things. And the Bulls, in some ways, have not changed their team hardly at all. They very much stood pat, and they didn't really make a whole lot of big, fancy add-ons, or they didn't really lose anybody either. In fact, they seem like they're doubling down on people like DeMar DeRozan and even Lonzo Ball, who has not played in like almost 2 years. So, man, I look at their roster and I see $20 million being paid to Lonzo Ball this year, and he's already not going to play. And I'm just like, man, I'm so glad we're not the Bulls. Could you imagine Raptors Nation and how they would be flipping out about Lonzo Ball if he was on our team and we were paying him that amount of money to sit at home and just be like, I don't know if I'm ever going to play again? People would be going for people's heads. They would be all over the front office for something like that. So I agree completely, Gerald. We were better than last year. We should never lost in the play into them. And we are better than them right now. We need to prove it tonight. That's right. Tom Duke is here. Good morning, Lex. Good morning to you, Tom Dukey. I like the sunrises. Let's get ready to dribble. Yeah, I'm going to do that later. I want to try it at the end of the show just for fun, because in some ways the main event's at the end of the show. And it was weird to start it off with the beginning. I just kept feeling like this is like the opener. This would be the jobber match. And I'm like, no, we want the main event marquee matchup to be at the end of the card. So I want to switch it up that way today. Trevor J saying we're going to be better than a lot of teams. We're going to prove everybody wrong. They keep on sleeping on us. Watch, we are going to see them running back. Chris Boucher appearing on the Raptor show with Will Liu yesterday. And he said to a question, it's like, they predicted you guys are going to win 36.5 games in Vegas. And what do you think about that, Chris? He said 100% we're going to be better than that. 100%. That's what Chris said. These guys are aiming higher than the NBA and other people think for us. We are aiming real high. If we get good things going and the vibes are strong and this team plays very, very well together as a team, we could win a championship this year. You don't think we can't duplicate the rookie head coach winning a championship in his first year? You guys might be surprised how we could do this. Seriously, if the right things line up and our players really get the system going good and they really love it, and we just find new and new wrinkles as the season goes on and we just kick a lot of ass, yeah, we could do it. So don't limit yourself in your mind about how good the Raptors could be this year. We got to see. But also in the same token, don't have too high expectations where you're holding it against them if they don't get there. In some ways, you just want to give them a lot of room, expansive, amazing, huge amount of room to grow. But if they don't fulfill that potential, don't beat them down for it. It's a work in progress. And they're going to get there eventually. But also at the same time, don't be shocked if they're immensely successful this year, even with the new coach and new system and stuff like that. I love it. Yeah, Trevor J, keep them sleeping. Don't hit that alarm. Don't let it go off. Let them sleep. Monique is saying, good morning, Raptor Freak family, and happy game day. Happy game day to you, the greatest super fan, Monique Lawrence. We love you. And yes, I know she's having a nice smile to her day because she knows she gets to watch the Raptors play. That's right. Cowboy is in the house. Canadian Cowboy. Good morning, Lex. Man, Raptor Freaks. That guy, yeah, he has mage. He has mange. That'd be funny if he has mange, like a dog. He who shall not be named has mange. Yikes! Y'all wanted me to eat that Raptor Freak pepper yesterday, but I cannot eat that, man. I'm telling you right now, I'm already having some issues with my stomach, and if I try to eat that pepper, y'all might kill me. So I'm gonna pass on that challenge right now. But maybe when I'm feeling better, I might try a bite of it on camera for you guys. But right now, I'm not in the right shape. Let's just say I had some midnight appearances in the bathroom last night, and we ain't going there today. If I was feeling better, I'd definitely take a bite out of that new ghost pepper Raptor Freak variety that Bradley grew. But I'm not taking any chances right now. No, I'm not. Cowboy is saying about he who shall not be named. I love that you're using his emoticon instead of saying him. That's great. He's a grown baby. Yes. I don't even know. I don't watch him. I only hear about him from y'all. And in some ways, I'm like, I don't even really want that. I just want to live in a world where he doesn't exist. How about that? Cowboy's saying, let's go Raptors. And he's got the Raptor lineup. He's got me, Mo. He's got Darko. He's got OG. He's got Jakob, Pascal, Scotty, Dennis, and Mo once again. Trevor J's words of wisdom is that day when we all come together and respect each other, life will be so much better. When you learn to love each other, stop being blindsided. I am so mad and furious about things that are going on in this world right now because in some ways, humanitarianism and the right thing, being humane, being a human being, being feeling like people are equal in this world is not happening right now. Apparently, some people don't matter as much as some other people. That there's some sort of currency exchange between Canada and the U.S. Well, there's like an exchange of human life who is actually more worth each other. And that's disgusting to me is what I'll say right now. I'm not going to say anything specific, but I'm going to say I'm for human beings. I'm for getting along. I'm against genocide, and I'm against some of the shit that's going on right now. And it's disgusting that the people that lead my country that I live in endorse this kind of bullshit is what I'm going to say right now. So that's all I'm going to say on that. It's a touchy subject. I'm against genocide. I'm against hurting human beings. And there's some people out there doing this shit because they think they're justified. You're evil as fuck. And whatever's going to happen to y'all. Trust me. But in the end, this kind of shit don't go right. Seriously, there will be an evening out of some sort. And I hope it's not any kind of violent way. I don't want more violence begets violence. I want the violence to stop. But in some ways, somebody needs to pay for white phosphorus. That is illegal. That is a war crime. And the UN will come and tell y'all that eventually because that shit is wrong. Shit is inhumane. That's barbaric. And you know what? It speaks to that side being monsters and that side being fucking barbaric and to use something like that. It's messed up. Seriously. Fiercely saying, good morning, fam. Happy Tuesday. Revenge game versus the Bulls tonight. Sixers and Nets yesterday. Pat Bev was ejected, and Nick Nurse dare telling Masai, "Good luck with these guys. Good luck to you, Nick." Yeah, it is what it is. Let him have his Sixers experiment. We're going to see them soon enough, and hopefully we'll beat their asses. Oh my gosh, I want to beat the Sixers' asses bad, and I'm probably not the only one. I bet you there's some Raptors that want to beat their ass too. So yeah, I'm all about that. Thank you for being here, Fiercey. We love you. We love you, Fiercey. Cowboys saying, really, really smart. Fiercey saying he looks so pissed. Let's see. Yeah, I don't even care. Fiercey saying that nameless. Whatever we do, we need to fix a way to trash us. Incredible. We won. Relax, dude. Whatever we do, yeah, there's some sort of thing he's going to be negative. In some ways, that is what I'm talking about. It's your mindset. That dude has a horrible mindset. He has some of the worst mindset. And in some ways, I have a really good mindset. And that's the difference. I have a positive mindset for the most part. And I'm trying to promote good and positive energy about the team and thinking about it. He's the opposite. It's like we're a battery. You really want to go with the negative side and feel all Debbie Downer and live a life like him? Well, okay, you go ahead. If you want to be happier, you want to root for your team with the full heart of pride and truth, then come with me and forget about that motherfucker named Robert Misovich. Seriously, because you'll be miserable this whole fucking season if you follow Penn-State basketball this whole year. Seriously, right now, just unsubscribe and just watch me. You'll get what you need to get from watching for the Raptors, and you can just forget about that negativity. Who needs it? Who needs that negativity? Seriously. Cowboy saying alley-oop to Fiercey is game day. All right, Cowboy, you want to throw an alley-oop to Fiercey on a dunk? Let's give Fiercey a dunk then. All right, where is Fiercey? There's Fiercey. Fiercey, your line's getting filled up. I'm going to have to start a new line for you soon. All right, let's see what else y'all are saying. Fiercey saying thank you for the dunk. And thank you for the quote, Trevor J. So true. He who shall not be named needs to see it. No, we don't want to talk about him anymore. No more of this talk anymore. That's cut off on him. He who shall not be named, he's an idiot. That's all we got to say. Seymour saying 7:30 a.m. Mountain Time was popping. Raptor Freaks and Freakettes. Seymour Pape holding it down for us in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Always good to see our good friend, Mr. Pape, the sheriff. Yeah. Kareem Thomas is saying, damn, Gary seems highly agitated when it came to questions about coming off the bench, but remains professional. Gary may have been slighted in the offseason and probably promised as a starter. Yeah, I don't know. That's speculation. You know, in some ways, his on and off with the bench with Nick was no rhyme or reason. It may be that he kind of expected it since Fred was leaving and that he was kind of the next guy after Fred, that he would just step into that spot. I mean, a lot of fans expected this too. But in some ways, I saw this and I called this. Dennis is Darko's dude, and there's nothing wrong with that. In some ways, there's a certain level of running the team right off the bat with Dennis that's important. In some ways, the stuff that Gary does is so good for the bench. I've said this so many times in the last 2 years since Gary's been on our team that he is a really good six man. And Darko's smart. He's using him at his best ability for us in some ways. Some people say, well, he should be starting. He should be starting. Well, fuck that shit. We need that scoring punch off the bench. We got scorers in the starting lineup. We need a scorer off the bench. And Gary is perfect for this. And the great thing is he's going to get all of what he wants anyway. It's just the whole idea of the word starting. I hate this shit. Stop pushing this shit. Press corps, making starting such a big deal. It's not a big deal. It really, really isn't. And Gary's going to get his chances to start a lot of games this year. Watch. He will. He will. So, yeah, he may be more agitated with the question keeps coming up. Because when the question comes up, it's like the presser saying, oh, you're not good enough to start, is what they're saying to him. And it's like, it shouldn't be like that. Fuck you, Grange, and you fucks for bringing up that question all the time with Gary. It's tired. It's old. Don't you get it? He's a professional. He's going to do what he's asked, and he's going to do it to the best of his ability. That's what he says every time you fucking ask him the same damn question every 6 months, you fuckers. So keep asking him about starting or being on the bench. You're going to get the same shit. He's a true professional, and he's doing it for the team. What did he say? He said, I want to do whatever it takes to help this team win. That's what he said. His ego does not get into it like y'all are giving him an ego on it. You want him to have an ego about it? Is that what y'all want? When you ask him that question, he has no ego about it. He's a professional. He has confidence in his skills, and he knows he's going to get his time out there because he's too good to bench. So, yeah, it doesn't matter. If you're a six man, you can be a great player. Kevin McHale was a six man his whole career. He's in the Hall of Fame, you dumbasses. I hate this whole starting thing where everybody puts a premium on starting. Ooh, starting. No, motherfuckers, you don't know how the history of the NBA went if you're always over that glorifying starting versus not starting. Y'all don't know how the NBA goes. There's a top 7 or 8 players, and sometimes those guys don't start, but they're still amazing players like Ricky Pierce and fucking Lou Williams. You guys are fucking idiots that come down on the bench thing. It's so stupid. Dana's here. Good to see Canadian Dana. Good morning, everyone. Good morning to you, Dana. Always happy to see you in the chat. Mo's here. Very high, Kareem. Very, very high. very, very high. Kareem saying Jakob is just hungover. Let's not think much about it. I hope that's not what it is. I don't think he is. I mean, I don't really think any of these guys are very much drinkers. Let's just put it that way. You can't be a high-level NBA player and be like you used to. Barkley was a heavy drinker. Some of these guys are drinking during games, but the sports science of basketball just is saying, you know what? Alcohol is bad for you in all kinds of ways. And in some ways, you're going to hurt your career if you're a drinker. Scotty does not drink alcohol. Scotty does not smoke marijuana, and Scotty is very clean living. So the only thing that Scotty needed to work on was his nutrition and eating more healthy food. And he's doing an adjustment and made that happen. So these guys care about their bodies more than you think, Kareem. And you'd be shocked how little they probably don't drink. And they're probably not drinking at all. I think Jakob's actually sick. That's what they're saying. He has the flu, and he's getting over. Who knows? I'm not gonna say he has COVID, but he's under the weather, is what officially is happening. And I'm not worried about him. It's not like Koloko. The respiratory thing with Koloko has been going on for 4 months. That's scary. This thing with Jakob may be going on 4 days, and that's totally different. 4 months, that's crazy. Tom Duke saying Boucher told Will Luke quite a few things yesterday. Yeah, it was an interesting conversation. A lot more open about last year, talking about the problems with Nick. Nick calling him out in the press, and he said he just got used to it. He's just calling me out in the press. It's just what he does. Very interesting things that Chris said. One of the things he said, there was a disconnect between the older players and the younger players on the team. And in some ways, Nick wasn't bridging it, which is the problem. In some ways, there was a difference. I've actually kind of sensed what was happening with the team last year. And I talked about it a little bit, is that Chris described this, that, in the NBA, there's a pecking order. There's the seniority that kind of is natural, that follows through. But when you have a super uber talented player like Scotty come in some ways the pecking order gets turned upside down. And older players may resent that. And I think this is exactly, I talked about this. In some ways, Scotty, you can't just come in and take everything and want it right now. There's development and time, and your time will come, and you earn it over time. And in some ways, some of the vets on our team may have felt like too much was being given to him too quickly, and he hadn't totally earned it. But meanwhile, he's hungry and he wants it. So there was a lot of conflict in some ways on the team in that kind of perspective. And I thought so. The younger fans all think Scotty should just do whatever the fuck he wants, but that's not good. That's not good. He needs to do it within the structure and the hierarchy. And in some ways, there needs to be seniority followed. There really does. But that was part of the issue with what wasn't gelling last year, is that seniority was turned upside down because of Scott's overwhelming talent. And to a degree, that should happen. But in some ways, it caused friction, and it caused guys not to totally be on the same page, or maybe even like each other to a degree in some ways. I think they all liked each other for the most part, but there was some issues with the old and the young, as told by Chris yesterday. So yeah, crazy. Cowboys saying, let's go, Seymour. And it's 6:30 Pacific, Tom Duke's time out in Victoria, British Columbia. That's right. This man loves this show. If he's going to get up at 6:30 on a Tuesday morning and help me produce it, thank you, Tom Duke. I appreciate you, man. Fiercey saying also, Otto has to get back in eventually. Don't want to sound insensitive, but when will be the right moment? Yeah, I have no idea on this. In some ways, it's whatever. I don't want to harp on this. If we get Otto back, we do. We don't, whatever. It's these kind of things happen. Once again, when you sign guys and you have things happen, it's a crapshoot, and you may have amazing output and everything's healthy and everything's fine. And then you may have Lonzo Ball. So if our level of Lonzo Ball is Otto Porter right now, he said in his interview, he really is anxious to get back out there and play. And I believe him. Well, let's see it. You said it. Let's see if you actually mean it, Otto. So in some ways, we don't have a whole lot tied up into him, whether he's going to help us or not help us. So in some ways, he's just extra gravy if he does show up. So I hope he does, because I'm sick of everybody kind of thinking he stole money from us. I don't get out there and earn your money is basically what people are saying. Chris is here. Good to see you, MSJ. As long as Precious is in decent shape soon, Otto seems odd. I bet the toe is a mess, but I'm really concerned about Koloko. Does anyone know if this is a recoverable issue? I hope so. I mean, I don't know what's going on with Koloko. They won't tell us. As soon as we find out, you guys, I'll tell you guys as soon as I know in the chat and or here in the stream the next day. So as soon as I know what's going on with Koloko, I will. Otto, I don't know what's going on with Otto. In some ways, I don't even care. Just we'll see if he shows up and he's able to play for us. That's great. If he doesn't, it'll be like last year and be like, okay, this guy's a Olajuwon. He's just came and got a paycheck and he's just finishing up his career because he doesn't really give a shit about actually getting on the court for us. So we'll see. Otto, I think you need to prove something to some people that they think you're just stealing a check. And you could change that. It's not even just the fans. We've heard people like Steven Jackson talking about this on their podcast recently, kind of throwing you under the bus about how you're just kind of collecting checks right now. Well, prove them wrong. Come play and do something for us, please. Please. Let's see. Seymour is saluting because he's here. Kareem saying Malachi seems fairly comfortable in his role and was probably reassured his roster spot. Darko continues to give him praise. Yeah, I could see that. You know, he was in the interview yesterday, very confident. I think you're right. And I think that even when Darko answered questions about Malachi, he made it sound like he's very much in the development plans for the future. So I don't expect Malachi to get cut going into the season because it sounds like Darko's using him like a piece of clay and he wants to mold him into something further than what he is right now. So I have no problem with this. You can get a bigger return on our investment into Flynn over these last few years. Hey, do it, Darko. Seriously. But I think you're right, Kareem. They both very much nodded that he's in the future plans and he's not in danger in this training camp. And honestly, the first game he was okay, and the last game he was great. So I could see why he's protected. I apologize once again for the ending of the stream yesterday. My internet was all wonky and it kicked me off way earlier than I wanted to be. But I feel like we did a pretty good reaction already, even though before I got cut off. But I apologize for that. I want none of that garbage today, YouTube. Don't you be kicking me off. Alan Tam's here. Bam, son. Bam. Right hook. Bam. Cool Cat saying, good morning, Raptor Freak crew. Media trying to create drama for stories. Exactly. The drama about whether Gary starts or comes off the bench. Oh my gosh, so stupid, so stupid. Holla! Good morning to you, cool cat. Kareem saying we need a Precious appearance tonight just to get him acclimated with his role, fit, and style of the new 0.5 offense. I'm not worried about him. In some ways, I think he's going to fit it just fine, and he has been doing it mostly in these practices. He hasn't been out that much. He was just out in recent times for these games. But I fully expect Precious. He could be playing tonight, honestly. He was a full participant in practice yesterday, which means he did contact. So that's a little bit better than 2 days before, where he was a full participant in practice on Saturday, but he did not have contact. So he's progressing. And Precious may be playing tonight. He's questionable. So he's ruled out. So he could be out there tonight. Cool Cat saying, I would like to see Gary get an award for Sixth Man of the Year. He could win that. That's part of the thing. It's like, look, we don't jerk him around. These idiots are saying, oh, he needs to start. He needs to start. They're going to mess up his chances to get Sixth Man of the Year if he starts too many games this year. So in some ways, it would benefit him to get the perception that he is a Sixth Man of the Year candidate because that is prestigious in itself. And then if he wins the Sixth Man of the Year, I'm telling y'all, that's good for him. So they're past to really good, successful things in all kinds of different areas. And honestly, the starting lineup, the way it is right now, is the right starting lineup. Dennis should be starting. You guys are going to thank me later and when the season starts. Watch. Let's see. Monica saying, great interview by Chris on the Raptors show. Yeah, it was short. Just kind of talking it in. I think that the relationship between Will Lou and Chris is funny. In some ways, Will still needs to respect Chris a little bit more than he does. I don't like how he talks to him in some ways. This is a big-time NBA player, and you need to be more respectful of that dude. He's a nice guy, and he puts up with a lot of shit. But man, if I was interviewing Chris Boucher, I would handle it a whole different way than Will Liu in some ways. It speaks to how he was dissing him in the beginning, which allowed him to be interviewing him in the first place. In some ways, that respect for Chris isn't totally there in the right way from the Raptors show. Let's just put it that way. Let's see. Nako saying kudos to Gary because he's seemingly pretty damn mature. Yeah, he is very mature, very, very mature. Not only does he look like Lenny Kravitz, even though Lenny Kravitz is a very old. He had a new video last week, y'all. Lenny Kravitz, and he's naked in it. It's so weird. He's probably like almost 60 or something. He's at least 60 almost. And the man was buck naked in his video. And I'll tell you, for a man his age, his body doesn't look that bad out of shape. But yeah, Trent is mature like the real Lenny Kravitz. The man is just as mature as him. MSJ saying, and Flynn seems like he is the man who's going to be playing, but has anyone seen much pick and roll from him? Maybe I missed it. There were a couple of things that Darko listed yesterday about Malachi that he really likes, and that wasn't one of them. So I don't know. We'll have to see. He does do pick and rolls. We've seen him do pick and rolls with Chris during the Tampa year. There was a bit of that going on. In some ways, Chris is very much rooting for Malachi because he's been on this team with him on the bench for a couple of years now, and they're very familiar with each other. So I don't know. Flynn's going to be fine. Obviously, they're nodding that he's a part of this year and the future. So I should just let go of possibly cutting him for Doughton because it already seems like it's been decided, and Jeffrey's just in trouble. I don't think Jeffrey's going to make this team, guys. And it is what it is. But in some ways, I know people are like, why? What can we let somebody else go instead of Jeffrey? I don't know. It won't be Flynn, though. Watch. Kareem saying, I hope Darko takes into consideration how we lost last year and lets our starters play all 3 quarters. We have some serious get back to do. Well, out of our 4 preseason games, this is the most high caliber opponent at this point. I thought the Kings game was pretty high caliber too, but we handled them good. And we did play our starters in that game. So I fully expect our starters to get some good competition in there tonight. I think it's important for us to win this game just for like mental anguish from the end of last season. In some ways, this is a good first start. It's a preseason. It doesn't count, but it still makes the Raptors feel good to beat the Bulls after the way they went out at the end of the season last year. So I agree with this, Cream. And I expect it. I expect our guys to play. Maybe they do play regular minutes that they would play in the regular season. This could be the game where he's like, all right, I'm going to let the starters play their regular minutes tonight. So it may be we're not seeing much of the bench tonight because they want to be competitive and they want to kick the shit out of the Bulls. I'm okay with that. I am okay with that. Darko wants to do that. I'm okay with it. It sounds like Kareem's okay with it too. Fiercely saying Gary's face was priceless when they asked about high leverage free throw practice. What kind of stupid question was that? They all know free throws are important. They don't miss them on purpose. I know. I mean, the reaction of Gary was telling to like just how dumb that question is. It's like, how do you mimic the high stress of that? You motherfucking idiots. Did y'all ever try and play basketball? Grange, you did. So you should know these answers. So it's like dumb questions about how do you mimic the free throw pressure of the play-in game from last year. It's so dumb. What? We have a little girl screaming in the corner. That's what we got. Okay? That's how we mimicked it. We brought in somebody's kid and they're yelling in the corner. And that's how we mimicked being ready for that kind of stuff. Really, that's what you should be asking. How are you going to make free throws if Derozan's at the game tonight? That's what y'all should be asking. Don't be asking like this stupid shit. Why this game in particular? They do fine at the free throw line, but because we're playing the Bulls and because of what happened last year, you want to bring this shit up? See, this is an ongoing thing. That's so dumb. This is a specific thing to the Chicago Bulls franchise when we play them? Free throws, all of a sudden you're caring about free throws? You fucks. Oh my gosh. And Gary's face said a lot. It really did. It really did when he said that. It was like, you guys are idiots, is what he was saying with his face. Cowboy saying, Scary Gary is the man. Let's go. I agree. Kareem saying, if there's a Torontonian in Chicago tonight for the game, I encourage them to burst their larynx and thyroid glands during Bulls free throws. Kareem, if you want to get the bizarro Derozan down there for the game in the United Center tonight, that'd be fantastic. Who would it be? Who could we get? Maybe Javon Freeman Liberty has a little cousin or a niece that could come to the game and sit at half court or something and just screech for our side. Yeah, Javon's from Chicago. He's going to have family there. Maybe he's got a little cousin or niece that can be doing a little bit of that for us. That could be it. Javon Freeman Liberty. You got good family, like a little young lady in your family that can screech real loud. Hey, there you go. G saying, can we trade our media at this point? I'd like to trade a couple of them out. Yeah. Some of them we can keep. Some of them we can keep, but there are some of them I'd like to trade out. And Jake's takes, first one in there. Put him in there. Put him in, coach. Yeah, I'm all about that. Fiercely saying that Kareem, laugh out loud, encouraging grown-ups to pull a DR. Well, I'm saying let's get a youngster to do it. Let's get a youngster to do it. Tom Duke has got the food for the refs. I haven't seen this in a while. Look at this. He's got the steak. He's got the potato. He's got the broccoli for David Guthrie. Looks so good. I hope David's hungry because, man, we're going to feed him tonight. That's right. And then there's a steak and some mushrooms for Scott Twardarski. Yes. And there's the barbecue for the Korean grill for Inte Huang. Beautiful, Tom. The referee food has been delivered. Thank you, Tom. We'll get it down to United Center for this afternoon. I'm a fun guy saying Parasite is the best Asian movie I've ever seen. It's truly amazing. I've heard it's so good. Yeah, I have heard it's very, very good. It's disturbing. It won the Picture of the Year for that year in the Oscars, I believe. So that's pretty impressive. Very impressive. Fiercely saying at G, not trading, waive them and rebuild from scratch. Tank mentality like many fans have. Yeah, let's have a tank mentality with our press corps. Seriously. Let's scrap them down. Let's rebuild. Let's fire them all. Let's waive them all. Send them on out and bring in new people right now. Right now. Seriously, we can keep like 3 of them. We'll keep Savannah. We'll keep Orrin Weisfeld. We'll keep Josh Lewenberg. We'll keep Samson Folk. And who else? But those 4 for sure. Savannah, Orrin, Josh, and Samson. And, I'm not counting Akil. Akil's cool, and so is Randy Urban. We're talking about the people that are in the media room. Those 4 we protect. The other ones can all fuck off. Seriously, all the rest of them. Those 4 are the only ones I like at this point. Eric Kareem used to be all right, but you're kind of full of shit at this point. Ganter, Smith, Grange, who else is in there with them? Zatzman. You guys can all fuck off. But we'll keep Hamilton, Weisfeld, Folk, and Lewenberg. Lewenberg's fine too. I don't mind Lewenberg. He's all right. All right, let's keep going. Raps Love saying, go Raps, go. That's right, Raps Love. We've got a game today. Let's go and play. We got to watch them beat Chicago today. That's right. Get that deep dish and smack them in the face with a slice of deep dish. Bam. Nako's saying, far be it from me to not criticize the media, but I don't know if there's a better option out there. Parasite is absolutely one of the best movies in the past decade. Instant classic. So we have respect for the movie taste of Inte Huang, which is very awesome. Yeah. Listen, in some ways I could go down there and do a better job than them. Seriously. I'm no lie. I am trained in this. I did do athlete and media conferences at Florida State when I was covering sports for the Florida State Seminoles. And I was in the locker room, even interviewing guys and interviewing people at press conferences like Bobby Bowden. So I have experience doing what they do. I could go down there and ask the right questions. I would ask the right questions as a Raptors freak. So, yeah, I could do that. I could do the job. I've done it before. And in some ways, I would probably get better answers than they do in some of the stuff they're asking. So, yeah, G saying fiercely, I like your style. There you go. Nameless is saying Michael Grange and Doug Smith for Ben Simmons. No, let's trade him for Bill Simmons. Let's trade him for Bill Simmons. No, we don't even want to trade him. We don't want any of the garbage coming back. We just want a new organic, new stuff. We'll go to the high schools. We'll find the smartest young people that are covering the basketball on their school papers, and we'll hire them. That's right. We'll get the Jake's Takes generation coming in there. Yeah, that's what we'll do. I'll be like the only old head in the room. I'll be the replacement for Doug Smith as the old head in the room, and all the rest of them can go off in the sunset. Please. Oh my gosh. Kareem saying, hope these refs like bull meat because that's what we're cooking tonight. Yes. And that is no bullshit. I love it. Yeah, yeah. The steaks are going to be from the Bulls. That's right. That's right. You guys want steaks tonight, huh? Yes, I love it, Kareem. I love it. Yes. Look at Tom's got them in line going up to the grill. This is very good. And he's got the plate set too. Beautiful, Tom. Beautiful. That's good dining. In fact, let's do the Raptors Instagram check real quick since there was some dining last night with our Raptors. Let's see. First of all, Raptors have game days set up on their official admin. Game days, October 17th, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, Chicago, United Center. It's the Bulls, baby. Let's go. Let's see what else we got. Yes, sir. Ski Scotty is on a plane to, I guess that's the plane or something. He's in a room and he's saying that, guys, I get remembered as the subway guy. So he's saying while he's out in public, people yell, "Hey, subway guy" at him these days. That's pretty interesting. Monique has got something to say. She's grateful for where she is and excited about where she's going. That's right. She's on the eve of the next NBA season, and we know she's excited about where she's going for that. And that's to a lot of games. There you go. I love it. I love it. I love it. Mr. New York City posted that also. Grateful for where I am and excited for where I'm going. That's right. He's on the same page with Mo. That's right. And there's the dinner I was talking about. They're at Steak 48 in Chicago last night because obviously they flew there for the game today. And apparently Marquise's dad, he took the steak challenge like John Candy did in that one movie, and he ate a steak that he had no business eating. And the guy came over and said, "You ate that whole steak?" to Marquise's dad, and he's like, "Yeah." He said, "We don't ever see that happening." So that was a pretty interesting little event at Steak 48 last night. Marquise's dad can put it down. Let's just put it that way. He can put it down. Scotty Barnes making fun of Justin Champagny on his Instagram stories because Justin traveled to hell like crazy on this fast break. I mean, he really did. He traveled like twice. He traveled and then he took a dribble and then he traveled again on this play. And it's like, it's so bad how bad he's traveling in there, Justin Champagny. It's hilarious. And Scotty's saying, "Bro, where are you going?" Because he did. He traveled horribly in that play. Then Dennis took a picture of Gradey and Scotty up on a veranda above them, and he took the picture of them. And these guys are all sharing it. And Scotty reposted Dennis's picture by Schroeder, and it's Gradey and Scotty looking down into the courtyard in this hotel that they're at. I guess they're in Chicago. I love seeing this. The cross promoting and posting of pictures from each other is a real sign in today's NBA that vibes are good. So we also, oh my gosh, y'all, Cardi is on blast on Scotty's Instagram right now. Cool cat, Erica plays. Y'all need to get there quickly because there are some awesome pictures of Cardi in a hoodie next to Cardi's little picture that was done, and it's just beautiful to see the young dog, Scotty's little baby dog. So awesome. Cardi is so cute. There's a lot of pictures of Cardi up right now. There's Dennis, cozy travel and game day fit. A little bit colder there. All right, first we've got him on blast. His brother Shay, his YouTube channel. There's that picture of Gradey and Scotty he posted in the first place. There's a picture of him with Ellen getting ready to leave, and he's saying, "Check out Ellen's new video of her cooking the dinner for him the other day." There's a picture of the Chicago City. And he's saying, "Now we're in Chicago for the game." And there's him getting off the plane in his cozy travel and game day fit. He looks very warm. And I love how much Dennis is fitting in with our team so far. It's very, very good. Thad Young's looking for a diesel mechanic. So if you're a diesel mechanic, you can get hired by Reform Transportation in Cordova, Tennessee. So if you guys want to move to Tennessee because you're a diesel mechanic, you can go work for Thad. So yeah, that's a job listing on Instagram. Mogi's looking stylish in the hotel with his look. He is wearing a New York Yankees hat, but hey, he's from New York. And there's some cool books on the wall and some other accessories on the side walls. There's Gradey posting the picture that Dennis posted earlier. Javon Freeman Liberty going back to Chicago today to play in front of his family. That's going to be fun to see. Scott Pascal doing this again, y'all. He posted the "You Stop Playing Piano with Your Life" clip on his Instagram stories yesterday. He does this on Monday mornings. He's like, "It's Monday morning. I'm working out. What are you doing with your life? Stop playing piano with your life." I'm telling you, these are directed messages very much. And Siakam did repost the him and Dennis Schroeder dapping each other in the game the other night. This is really, really good, y'all. Seriously, the partnership between Schroeder and Siakam be very, very fruitful. Very, very fruitful. We're back, baby. That's right. Let's go. And he's got a picture of a young man wearing his jersey, Siakam, and he's called him a stud. That's right. All kinds of good stuff going on there. There's your Raptors Instagram check. Yeah, they were eating steaks last night. So it's a steak theme. David Guthrie and Scott Twarzowski want the steak. There's Bulls available. Let's get some bulls slaughtered and get them on the steak on the grill. That's right. Yeah, Jimmy Pope's here. I'm at work, but I had to come here real quick and I gotta say, I really want this win, even though it's preseason. I still feel good to get a little get back. Yeah, yeah, I'm with you, Jimmy. Seriously, I'm with you on this. It will help things. It'll help the guys too. In some ways, they want to get a little get back. I'm sure they do. Raps Love saying, who's going to go and scream every time Chicago takes a free throw? People don't understand how talented our team is just because they're not every day. Yes, PN names doesn't mean we don't have talent. Remember that. Yeah. I'm totally about this. Seriously, I feel like our team's very, very good. Very good. In fact, we may be better defensively this year than we have been the last couple years. Seriously. In some ways, if we play one-on-one talent versus people instead of trapping with all the doubles, we're going to have a better defensive output in some weird ways because of that. I really trust our guys that we have immensely good, talented athletes that can guard people straight up. And then in some ways, this was something people were saying for the last couple of years with Knicks schemes, that why don't y'all just play them straight up? Y'all are very tall and long and strong yourselves. Why do we need to hurry and trap like that? Because that's what teams that don't have very good defenders do. They have to trap a lot. So it's like overkill. In some ways, I want to see us play people straight up and kick their ass defensively one-on-one. That's what I'm talking about. Now, if somebody's killing us and we need to go send doubles at them to slow them down, of course. But it shouldn't be the first setting, the thing you do right from the start of the game, because you don't have any more intensity to ratchet up as you go into the game further. That's what I'm saying. It's very smart by Darko. Start with basic one-on-one, straight up defense. And if there are problems, you adjust. Then you start sending doubles. Then you start switching and stuff like that. So I'm really happy about our defensive philosophies going into the season. In some ways, it's less work, but it may be just as effective, is what I like. Yeah. Cool Cat saying, we lost that playing game due to depth. Pascal on courts would it be a big lead? He sits, the lead evaporates, rinse and repeat, and then the last ditch effort was free throws. Oh, well, like Flynn, we moved on. I really do feel like he did it on purpose. He wanted to make us look good and get the lead up, but then he rolled over like a dog. You watch Nick in the second half of that game. He sat and he didn't do any coaching. He very much just sat there and was an observer. He might as well have bought a ticket, and he was sitting in the front row like Drake. Because honestly, that's the way he treated the second half of the playing game. He did not coach. He turned everything off, and he allowed us to just cruise to a loss. He wasn't giving them direction, and he may have tired them out on purpose for this issue to happen. Seriously. Raps Love saying, I'm not worried about last year, only this year, right now. This team has some serious depth. Why people think we're not going to make some noise in the East is unbelievable to me. Yeah, bringing this up right now, Raps Love. This Sunday, the Sunday special report, I'm going to do my official Eastern Conference rankings. I'm going to tell y'all who I think the order of the pecking order of the Eastern Conference is going to be by the end of the year. So tune in, 9:30 Sunday morning, Sunday special report. Raptor Freak chooses his Eastern Conference rankings for this season coming up. I'm going to give you that preview on Sunday. So I hope you'll come in there and join me for that one. And I'll list all the teams in the East and where I see them landing. I won't do the West. I don't pay enough attention to them. And in some ways, I just want to focus on the East. So we're going to talk about the Eastern Conference on Sunday morning, y'all. All right, let's see what else y'all are saying. It did a little jump ahead. Where is it? I got to find you. It was on Raps Love. Hang on. Uh-oh. Okay, there we are. All right. Raps Love saying, for a team who can't shoot, our team has been shooting pretty well. Yeah, that's a fallacy. I think that, once again, the problem with our shooting the last couple of years is Nick didn't care about qualities of shots. He just wanted certain guys shooting it. And in some ways, he wanted them to just chuck it because he expected us to get offensive rebounds and putbacks. In some ways, he wanted them to shoot early in the shot clock and rush the offense because he wanted to manufacture more possessions in the game overall. So there were all kinds of different reasons why we were putting up janky shots in the last 2 years. Some of it is very directed. And if our coach has a whole different philosophy about quality of shots, we're going to see a higher shot percentage because he's going to influence these guys to go for the shots that make the most sense. Oh my God. This is just smart coaching. In some ways, I've been crying out for this the last 2 years, and finally we're going to get it from a new coach. So yeah, it's about quality of shots. It's about taking the best shot. In fact, he was saying yesterday about Malachi. He's like, Malachi passed up an open layup to make the extra pass. But I told him, you know what? You had the shot. You should have just taken it and put it up, be aggressive and want to score. That's what I'm talking about. Even being unselfish and taking that extra pass is sometimes the selfish thing because you're making it a harder shot of the next person. And you had the open lane and the easy layup. So don't be that unselfish that you're passing up the easy gimme that's given to you is basically what's there. Yeah. Fun guy saying, yes, Raps love. And honestly, it's because of ball movement. And we've always had good shooters, but Nurse's system gets tough shots from bad offense and guys tired quicker and have no legs too soon in the game. This is another part of it. You know, by making a 10-man rotation and divvying up the minutes more equal, like we were saying all last year, these guys will shoot way better at the end of the games. They'll have more juice. They'll have more energy to be able to play at a higher level at the end of the game because they weren't ran into the ground for 40 minutes already. This is going to be a huge difference, and we're going to see it, and we're going to be like, holy crap, he could have done so much better if he just given a little bit more minutes to the bench the last couple of years. I like the Raps Low said, I don't care about last year. We're going forward. We're just caring about this year. That's what Malachi said, too, in his interview yesterday. He said, I don't care about last year. We're going forward this year, and it's all about right now. And this is the attitude Raptors fans should have. But we are going to see differences from last year, and we're going to be like, holy shit, this is so much easier. And we're like, holy crap, what the fuck was Nick doing? It's going to be like that. Nako saying Kyrie walked from the Celtics and was replaced with Kemba, decidedly less talented player then and now. Celtics made it to the Eastern Conference Finals that year. Raps can definitely surprise people. Yeah, we get good health. Knock on wood. Oh, my gosh. We get good health. We get that chemistry and that synergy. Everybody loves playing together. I'm telling you, good vibes will take you somewhere. They will carry you up high in the standings if you got good vibes around your team. That's right. Raps love saying you're right about bowel movement and open shots, but a lot of our success is downtown, down low. We can play a 2-point game and win balls. You're right about ball movement. You said bowel movement. Raps love, I'm going to give you a dunk just because it's incidental contact of bowel movement. So you got your third dunk for a misstep. Yeah, the ball movement and the open shots and the better high quality shots will increase our shooting percentage for sure. And I also like the idea of not being so three heavy. If we got really big guys like Scotty and OG and Jakob and people like that, and Pascal's really good against the basket, hammer it home. Darko has said he does highly prize paint touches. So we can get into the paint and get those paint touches and get bully ball going. It's easier to score that way in some ways. Now, the three-pointers are money, like Gradey and Gary and Otto. That's good, too. You get those guys hitting the threes outside, and then we got bully ball guys inside. Yeah, they're in trouble. They're in trouble. They're in trouble. Monique is saying each Raptors player was pissed after that play-in game, especially Scotty. He said it in every interview. He does. So everyone wants get back. Let's go. Yeah, he hates the taste of that losing. He hates losing just in general. I mean, the man hates losing in the video game. Like, and you see his real emotions when he loses in the video game. Just apply that to real life and his money and his career in the NBA. Yeah, he really cares about it then. I mean, I've seen him lose games in 2K and he gets so mad. Oh my gosh, he hates losing so much. Y'all need to realize this. In some ways, this is why we love him so much, because he is so competitive and he absolutely hates losing. He really does. So hopefully he kicks some ass tonight and shows just how much he hates losing. Yeah. There you go. There we go. Raps Love is saying, I'm not kidding. I truly believe we are top 4 in the East. No specific order, 1, 2, 3, or 4. Watch. I will agree with you. In fact, if we cut off to a right start and we have a really good first half of the season, I will say, yeah, for sure, top 4. I was hoping top 6. I would take that. But top 4, I love the sound of that. I do. Raps Love saying we're balking this year. People don't understand what players are on contract years. They tend to play amazing. We're balling this year. Balling. Yeah. Yeah. Gary's got a lot to prove. Pascal's got a lot to prove. OG's got things to prove. Scotty is supposed to make the leap this year for his 3rd season. In some ways, Precious needs to make a leap this year also for certain things with his contract. You're exactly right, Raps Love. And some people aren't talking about just how much the contract situations for the Raptors may actually get more out of them on the court. Contract years are something, I'll tell you. Contract years can be something. That's right. MSJ saying hot sauce I made for eggs in the morning. I'll bring a few bottles. As for humanity, it isn't going to get any better or worse. Blessing and a curse to be alive. 1,500-year-old fight to stay out of it. To stay out of it. I don't care how old or long that's been going on. In some ways, social media is helping with things. In some ways that there may be a hard line stance on what we should think about this conflict in Israel and Gaza. But in some ways, the truth gets out there and people are making it known that they are not okay with genocide. And in some ways, listen, just because the leaders of our countries are standing a certain way doesn't mean we stand that way. We are against the terrorist attacks of Hamas. But the double negative of going and killing innocent Palestinians in Gaza City doesn't make up for that either. So, yeah, it's not, both sides are awful. Seriously, both sides are awful in some ways. And it just is what it is. Seymour saying, Robert, misinformationist. I don't even care. Let's not even bring him up. Raps Love saying, stay out of that fight. You're right. The problem is, why is it always civilians to pay the price? It breaks my heart. It should be armies and governments fighting, not civilians. This has been the case in the whole history of time, and it's just a sad part of it. That's why, in some ways, we need to evolve as humans. And at some point, we got to be just like saying, we won't stand for this anymore. In some ways, we have more power on this than we think. And the internet and social media allows us to share information and not be duped by the media machines to just buy into the crusade of what's going on over there and just say, oh, this is rightful. The bombing and shelling of Gaza is not rightful. It's not a good thing at all. And it's absolutely barbaric. And there's terrorism in the attacks on Gaza City. Seriously, that is terrorism. Y'all think y'all bad in some fighting terrorism? Y'all are causing terrorism, you motherfuckers. You seriously are. Benjamin Netanyahu is not necessarily the most popular dude. And this is the thing. There's a lot of Jewish people around the world do not agree with his response and how they're doing things. There are many, many, many Jewish people that are not hardliners like Netanyahu, and they are not okay with what's happening as the response. Defend yourself, all right, but this is not defending yourself. This is not. In some ways, that you're swatting a fly, a mosquito, and you're squashing the hell out of it. It's not the same level of thing. Seriously, it really isn't. Let's see. All right, let's keep going. And I don't want to get too bogged down on this. I did bring it up, though. Seymour saying, I see it differently. U.S. paying countries to kill and drop the human population, paying Ukraine, who's in war, paying Israel, who's in war. I don't like it. Well, there's money to be made. That's the sick, disgusting thing, is war makes money for profiteers. And they're the people that make the weapons, the guns, the tanks, the bullets. And they love these wars. They're big for profits. That's all they give a shit about. They're the most hellish people in the world going to hell. And honestly, I don't understand how these people can have a conscience or think they're okay people. You motherfuckers profit off of death, misery, and sadness. And fuck, I hope you get what you get eventually, what you deserve. Seriously, maybe your lives are already miserable, you miserable fucks that profit off war. Yeah, these are manufactured wars will get you this. In some ways, I don't doubt that the Hamas attack was allowed so that they could do this attack on them to just smear them off the map. They're like, okay, yeah, they have really good defense. They could guard their people. Some people saying, oh, why didn't your defense system stop this? Well, maybe it was allowed. And some people have this theory about 9/11 that like, oh, why didn't we stop this? Why couldn't they stop this in this modern age? Well, and sometimes I wonder if they could have, and they just let it through so that they could justify a war machine and war profiteering. So, and sometimes you got to open your eyes and see it. Yeah, you got to open your eyes and see it. Trevor J, when people start a bitching conversation, that's when you get a lot of bitching. So don't let bitching interrupt your peace of mind. I think he's saying bitching. Seymour saying no to war. That's what I say too. War, people want to make money off of war. That's why they want these wars. That's why they were in Afghanistan. They wanted to make money off of selling equipment and all this other stupid shit, justify military budgets. Fiercely saying, watch Raptor Freak family for a healthy dose of positivity. W or L, Lex and the fam hold it down for the team, realistically and respectfully discuss the bright spots. Raptor Freak channel can and will change your life. Thank you, Fiercely. That's a beautiful endorsement. And I pledge to continue to do this channel every single day for the rest of my life. And we're going to do previews and reactions a lot coming up, starting today, previewing Chicago game. Fun guy saying, man, I drank for real last night. And I just wanted it to pass. I felt so sick. Sometimes it depends on what you drink. Canadian Club was amazing for me day before. 40 Creek last night was gross. What's the quality of what you're drinking too, fun guy? But also realize it has to do with hydration and what you ate also that day. So make sure you're drinking on a full stomach. That could be the big difference there. David's saying, haha, nameless, Grange and Doug Smith for Simmons. Laugh out loud. And MSJ saying, Gary is a six man. He doesn't assist. He doesn't rebound. He can score the ball. That's part of the reason why he fits better on the bench, because in some ways we don't want him to be our number one scorer on the starters. So if he's the number one scorer off the bench, he gets all the opportunities with that unit for the most part. We want Siakam probably be the number one scorer still for the starters. And Scotty probably second, and OG very close right there. And Gary, in some ways, he gets left like fourth or fifth even in the starting lineup. And Dennis has no problem being like the fifth option in the starting lineup. That's another thing about it. Dennis is a facilitator. Gary is not. And that is a big difference. We want that facilitator to feed Siakam, Scotty, OG, Yaka. And then Gary comes in off the bench, and he's getting the ball at that point when some of these guys are going out. And that's good. They asked Darko yesterday about his substitution strategy of keeping one starter out there at all times and never having a full bench strategy out there. And I thank you guys for asking that, because there were times in the last 2 years where Nick put in a whole bench lineup and they struggled so badly. So in some ways, Darko's already saying, no, there's always going to be like a Siakam or a Scotty or an OG out there on the court at all times. So don't worry about getting all bench lineups this year. It'll always be like 4 bench guys and 1 starter at least out there. At least, yeah. David's saying, I don't think that's fair to say, MSJ. He moves the ball, he rebounds. I'm not even sure what he said. Mischief's back. Good to see Mischief. Glad to see you back, my good friend. Hey, what's up, Lex? I had to go make a new account. My old account got blocked for sharing your account. That's crazy. You know, I saw you in the Raptors Tonight chat trying to put my channel on blast, and they erased it. And I saw you complaining about it. And I appreciate you trying to do that. That's very kind of you. If you guys want to share me, go ahead. But please don't get mad at people if they don't leave it up. In some ways, I get it. Scotty lets me be on Twitch. Sometimes I get to promote the channel on his Twitch, which is great. And some of y'all found me that way. But I get it. Maybe Raptors admin has been told not to let a Raptors Freak or Pensair or any of the other unofficial Raptors channels advertise on their accounts anymore. So I appreciate what you did, Mischief. I saw it. And I respect, man, respect. And you know what? Do what you can to help me. But if they do reject it or take it down, don't get upset at them. I expect them to do that. But keep doing it if you want to. I have no problem with that. But I don't like hearing that you're getting blocked or something like that. Much respect to you, Mischief. And thank you. I'm going to give you a dunk for doing that. In fact, I saw you do that like a week or 2 ago. And I just want to make sure I get you back for that, because that meant a lot to me, because I did see it. I seriously did. I saw you do that. All right, Mischief's got a dunk. All right, there we go. Fun guy saying, when you put it like that, MSJ, it really makes sense and very true. What did he say again? What did MSJ say again? I don't even remember. You guys are talking about the war, probably. Cool Cat saying, Fred voiced that there are levels in NBA winning and was not in agreement of Scotty skipping levels. He said young and dumb was the problem, and they need to learn the IQ and read the court. Yeah, you can connect the dots on here and some of the issues here. You know, I think Scotty learned that maybe he shouldn't be too pushy. He had lessons he learned last year, too. I think he's more naturally flowing into what Darko's going to have him doing than like kind of what was happening last year with Nick. And I think that that's part of it. There's a maturity level that Scotty reached recently that's very, very good. And I don't know if it's just like we went away from like being clown in the first year. And then last year it was kind of like, I'm up and coming. I want my spot. And the other guys are like, you're not ready yet. You're too soon. You want to be the point guard. Come on, man. You can't be the point guard yet. And then he's kind of, that's some of the friction is like he wants a lot too quickly. Then they're trying to tell him no, it's too quickly. But he's also, I can do this. And he feels held back. And then Pensier's doing his bullshit on his channel, causing more propaganda in certain ways that cause it more even issues. See, can you guys understand how a channel like Robert's can be very damaging and stupid for Raptors fans? Because they start buying what Robert says and they parrot it and they push it all over the place. And then it becomes even more of a dumpster fire. And the conflict between Fred and Scott didn't have to be there, but it was inflamed and abused and made worse by a fucking opportunist content maker named Robert Misovich. And that's part of the problem. I mean, these were real issues, but they need to deal with them on the inside and nobody else talk about them. Robert bringing them to the outside and putting them on blast in certain ways like this was not helpful. All it did was cause a bunch of fans who were stupid like him to say a bunch of stupid shit that was not helpful to our team and was part of the confusion of last year. MSJ saying at David Saborin, but on this team, he is the natural six man, don't you think? I think so too. He's totally the natural six man, Gary Trent Jr. Totally natural six man. In the history of the NBA, I see players like Gary, and I'm like, that's a great six man, like Ricky Pierce, like Lou Williams. And there's nothing wrong with that role. Seriously, there's nothing wrong with it. David's saying, I think it makes no difference to him, to be honest. He's a professional. I wish we had 450 Gary Trents in this league, would be actual basketball again, finally. Not a bad statement, and David's not that far off. Let's see. MSJ saying, Will Lou is way out of line with Chris Boucher. I find Will Lou to be a bit snarky, and I'm not a fan of snarky men. Or laugh out loud. Women, that's fine. But men, I can't handle that. He likes snarky women. There you go. Put it on your dating profile. He said, are you snarky? I'll date you. That's probably what Chris puts on there. Yeah, I think that in some ways he doesn't give Chris the respect that he should. And Chris is being a nice guy to him. Honestly, he really is. In some ways, Will, you apologize for some really fucking awful derision and critiques of Chris that weren't fair at all. And in some ways, you should be kissing his ass for the rest of your life, Will Lou. Seriously, you should be. Because honestly, the way you fucking talked to him originally was disgusting and embarrassing. And even though you apologized to him and you try to smooth things over, in some ways, you should be kissing his ass forever because of that. Seriously, the fact that he gives you the time of day is amazing to me, honestly. Because in some ways, I would have been like, fuck you, Will Lou. You said all this shit about me 3 years ago. Fuck you. In some ways, if I was Chris, because he could easily do that. But in some ways, he's being a nice guy. Monique is saying, Darko loves Chris. Man, I love his answer. I know he's very skinny. Yeah, I hated that answer. In some ways, is the opposite of like, in some ways, he's got to realize this is an issue that Chris has had a criticism about his whole entire career. People say he's too skinny. He needs to get in the weight room. In some ways, we don't need to put that out there, Darko, like that. I like what Popovich said. I don't say bad things about my players recently. And I wish Darko would follow that. In some ways, that is a negative thing to say about Chris. And it's not fair because it's been criticizing him for his whole career. And he has a very high metabolism. He can't put weight on. He's tried. He's done some success in the last couple of years, but before he couldn't. David's saying, who was that moron in the media availability yesterday asking the same stupid question about free throws and high-pressure game? Go get another job, you clown. That kid is an idiot, whoever he is. I agree. The free throw questions were stupid, and they're all based because we're playing Chicago today. There's dumbass free throw questions. You're going to ask free throw questions just because we're playing Chicago? These motherfuckers, you don't think these guys work on their free throws? Gary told you exactly how to do a free throw drill. Everybody knows how you do fucking free throw drills. They're the same. You just say, all right, I'm going to make 2 of them now. All right, I made 2. I'm going to make 5. I'll make 5 in a row. If I don't make 5 in a row, I'm running up and down the court. Just like Gary said. Everybody knows that's how you do that shit. Reporter, stop asking basic dumbass questions. And yeah, that guy, he was so gleeful about asking it both times. I think it was Zatzman. It was either Zatzman or Rose. It was one of those 2 idiots that asked the free throw question to everybody yesterday. It was so dumb. So dumb. Cool Cat saying, I've lost respect for the Raptors show. Will, Lou, Alex, I do not watch much compared to years of daily watching. Now I heard they will cover the entire NBA. Branding change show name. Fine. That's just, hey, listen, the Raptors show goes away. It's Raptors Freak. Whatever. I'm all only about the Raptors. And if they gonna go do the whole NBA, well, that's probably Rodgers telling them to do that. That's probably Rodgers himself, Ed Rodgers. Yeah, Cowboys saying alley-oop to David is so true. Gary is a young pro. All right, Bradley wants alley-oop to David next. David Saborin getting a dunk from Bradley. All right, let's see. David saying, dude, man, that pepper, the Raptor Freak pepper is bonkers. So good. All right, you've got my interest peaked. Maybe I should go to the other room and grab it and take just one little bite out of it. I don't know, man. And Bradley's thanking him for that. Cool Cat saying, for today's game, play the entire team again. We're still evaluating our bench, and after half, use the entire bench. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see how Darko plays it. In some ways, he's a competitive guy, and in some ways, he needs to heal this wound from last season. And beating the Bulls will help us a lot. We're going to play them again early in the season, too, when it really counts also. So we need to beat them both. It's a good practice game, this one, but we need to beat them in both games we got coming up with them. Raps Love saying, I can't stand Will Lou. He's arrogant and smug. He is to a degree. In some ways, when he went big time, it hurt him. In some ways, he is a little arrogant now that he's big time with Rodgers. You know, when he was just a guy who wasn't making no money, just writing shit and doing it for the love and the passion, there was something to him that was a little bit more real. But at this point, the machine has got him. The corporate machine has got him. And that's why I will never sell out, you guys. I promise you, I'll never sell out like them. Not that they want me anyway, but I'm just saying that I would never sell out like them and go work for Rodgers or Bell. Fuck that shit. I would never work for them, either one of those companies. I'm already worked for them in MLSE, and I'm on their employee history, but I don't need to be going down there and working for them again. No, I don't. Cowboys saying the peppers are the best fruit on the planet, hands down. I'm not into spicy stuff, but I'm totally about saving the seeds from your peppers and growing them out of the cottage next year. So I've been studying how to get the seeds prepared and what's the best way to take care of them. And I want to start a seed bank. So in some ways, I'm thank you, Bradley, for giving me some peppers this weekend so I can start a seed bank with some peppers seeds. Yeah. Raps Love is saying, no, we play the starters or we need to get them up to speed. That's more important. So we come out the gate flying this year more. Yeah, I'm more tending with Raps Love on this one, Cool Cat. And really it's because we've had games against shitty teams, not shitty teams. We had a game against a bad team on Sunday. And then we had a very competitive game in some ways against the Kings, but we beat their ass. This is a game that could be competitive today. So in some ways, we want to get the warm-ups for our guys, our main guys. We need to play our starters today. We do. Because we didn't have to play them a whole lot on Sunday. In some ways, we need to play them today. MSJ saying, I think DeMar's kid deserves some credit for the missed free throws, but she won't try that again. It's a one-and-done thing. No kids better pull that again. In some ways, I think that it's been outlawed. I think that, once again, the Raptors are going to get a one-and-done on something like this. The NBA may have new rules about that, and they will come and talk to them or ask them to stop or do something. I don't know. I don't know what they can do to it. But somebody was saying that at the games afterwards, after the game with us in the playoffs, they very much did not let her do that ever again afterwards. So I don't expect DR specifically to ever do this again. And if there's copycats or people like that, they may get dealt with a little bit more different, especially if they're not the offspring of one of the players on the court. They might get dealt with a little different now at this point. If you're impeding the game or messing the game up, and I totally think that she did have an effect on our free throws. She totally did. It was a perfect storm of fuckery, the playing game last year. The perfect storm between Nick Nurse's fuckery, the Derozan Shreeks, the players kind of just rolling over and dying. Yeah, it was really bad. Really, really bad. Seymour saying Parasite is on Netflix. There you go, guys. If you want to watch Parasite, it's on Netflix. Quick Take saying, enough respect, Lex and the Raptor Freaks. Let's get it. You go, NBA Quick Takes. Check out NBA Quick Takes, doing his predictions for the season with wins. He did the Sixers recently. So he's got some really cool clips, just quick predictions on win possibilities for teams this season, how he sees them. So give NBA Quick Takes a subscribe and watch some of his content. That's right. Raps Love saying, if I was at that play-in game last year and I had to listen to that girl scream, I would be so mad to pay thousands of dollars for courtside seats and that screaming in my ear. There was probably a bit of that around there. I could tell like Nav was trying to defend her from some of the people around there. I was like, who the hell in our building is doing that? Who the hell? Because our building's quiet when people shoot free throws. Somebody came in and an enemy. And then when I saw who it was, I seriously wanted to kill her in the first half. But at halftime, when I found out it was Derozan, this daughter of DeMar DeRozan, I was like, damn. If there's anybody in that building that can get away with doing this, and I'm not mad at them, it's her, just because of the history with her dad and our team. Oh man, it was so crazy. At that point, I was like, we got to let it go, y'all. We got to let it go. As soon as I found out her last name was DeRozan, I was like, we got to let this go. But at first, a lot of people were like, who the fuck is screaming like that? Seriously, it was crazy. Cowboy saying, let the kids be kids. That's what you got to do in some ways. You got to let the kids be kids. David's saying, I'm not sold on Oren. I think he's the donkey asking the dumb questions in the media day about high pressure free throws. Yeah, it could. Oren's been like not as good recently. I don't know what's going on with him. He's been tainted. Like in some ways, he was much more. Once again, these guys are better when they're just working for Raptors Republic. They're better when they're just in there in the farm system. Like Oren Weisfeld, Samson Folk, William Lute, they all came from Raptors Republic. And when they were straight up just doing Raptors Republic, they were better then. In some ways, they're gotten worse since they got real jobs. And I don't know if that says something about the studiousness or the want and the drive of trying to get there. And then when you get it and you've arrived, you kind of aren't as good anymore. I think that's part of it. In some ways, Samson's absolutely still fantastic and hitting it out of the park for sure. But Will Lou and Oren Weisfeld, y'all are good decline since you left Raptors Republic, in my opinion. You really have. All right, let's keep going. Let's see. Raps Love saying, let the kid be a kid. She's 12 years old. That's the way you want your 12-year-old to act in public. I paid thousands for that seat. I don't need her screaming the whole game. That is not normal cheering. It's inventive. It's creative. And in some ways, I got to give her that. And she did have impeccable timing. In some ways, look, I can hate on her, but in some ways, I respect what she did. And once again, I look at it this way. We're even with the DeRozan family. You know, we kind of sold him out and sent him to San Antonio to win a championship. And I felt guilty about that for a couple years. But after his daughter came to the game and did what she did last year, I don't feel guilty anymore. I feel like the DeRozan family and the Raptors organization are even now. That you stole a season from us, DR DeRozan and Nick Nurse, and we're even now. How about that? We're even, and I don't feel bad about trading DeMar for Kawhi anymore because of last year and what happened. Yeah, a fun guy saying you forgot Lewis as well, a very technically smart Raptors Republic guy and very respectful too. He has no motive or takes shots at people. No, I don't like Zatzman. I don't like him. His questions are stupid. He is a Raptors Republic guy too, but I don't put him on the same level as other guys. In some ways, his questions are very dumb. In fact, I think he's the one who was asking the free throw question yesterday. He's the one. I don't think it was Oren. I think it was actually Zatzman asking. I should go back and watch it, but in some ways, I don't give a fuck. There was a dumb reporter that kept asking free throw questions. Could have been Aaron Rose, Oren Weisfeld, or Lauren Zatzman. One of those three, it was who it was. David saying should have thrown her ass out of the arena. I don't give a fuck who she is or who she's related to. Yeah, that's not the right attitude. That's not the right attitude. And remember, I did a special report on this. I interviewed one of the ushers, my friend Tuzi, who works there, and he told me everything they could have done about this, and they wouldn't have done jack shit. The only thing that could have happened in that situation was if one of the referees had said she was impeding the game or causing the game to not go well, they could have gotten her tossed out. But the ushers and the staff of Scotiabank Arena could not have tossed her out. It had to have been one of the refs who said, oh, you're disrupting the game. You got to go. They could have kicked her out. But that's not going to happen if it's the daughter of one of the players on the court. It's not going to happen. That would be real clusterfuck. If all of a sudden Ed Malloy's over there throwing out DR and DeMar's like, why are you throwing my daughter out in the middle of the game? It would be really weird. So Tom Duke's saying, tanking on the Raptors media, let's do it. I just want them to up their game just a little bit. Or I don't know. You know what? I'll give them kudos when they do a good job, like Jake's takes. But most of the time, I'm just disappointed in them. Cowboys saying we lost because of Nick, not because of a beautiful kid yelling, "Let's go! It's Darko time. Let's lots of winning." That's right. Nick didn't coach us right either. Billy Donovan was very, very aggressive with his coaching, and he got Zach LaVine to wake up in the second half and absolutely kill us. And Nick didn't adjust. Nick didn't do any adjustments in the second half. He just allowed them to come back and beat us. That is really a big part of it. Nick did not do adjustments in the second half of the game to try and stop Zach LaVine. And that's part of why we lost that play-in game. David's saying we were 18 of 36. It made a difference. We never shoot that badly at free throws. It was an aberration in our free throw percentage, that play-in game. We never, ever shoot that badly. So, yes, she had a factor. That some of the players didn't want to admit it. Some of them did, but most of them were like, no, I didn't even hear her. Oh, that was going on? No, I didn't even hear her. Well, in some ways, they don't want the fans to get more mad at DeMar's kid. So, but they heard her. I'm sorry, they heard her. I know Fred specifically heard her because he was kind of making funny faces while he's shooting the free throws when she was screaming. So Shaq Lindsay's here. Good to see Shaq Lindsay. Fun guy saying, nah, 12 years should not act like that. That's just a lack of awareness that parents should be teaching their kids. Maturity matters. Well, let's look at it this way. If she's like, she loves her dad, obviously. She knows the history of her dad. She was old enough to be aware of what happened with her having to move from Toronto to San Antonio all of a sudden. It could very well be that DR had this all planned because in a mature way, she realized what the Raptors franchise did to her father. She saw him hurt, depressed, and sad about going to the Spurs in that first year there. So I think she did this calculated as a mature young lady to do this because she wanted to get back. Seriously, she didn't do this to anybody else at any other time. She saved her shot, and she was very effective at when she did it. It was all very calculated. Now, you can say that's not mature, but I'll tell you right now, I've been a 20-year-old man screaming at a game like that myself. So I've done it as an adult. So we can say it's about maturity or not. No, it's a very calculated, mature decision of get back. And she was very effective. Very, very effective. Seriously. Name is saying it didn't work out too well for the last Subway guy. I thought that they called Scotty the bit by guy or something. Hey, bit by guy. I thought that's what they were supposed to be calling you, Scotty. No, they're calling him the Subway guy right now. That's weird. That's weird. Fun guy saying there's cheering and then there's screaming obnoxiously in public like an out of control maniac. I know. And I'm going to tell y'all right now, when I played soccer as a child, I was called the screamer. Yeah, because I was that kid at like 8 years old that ran up and down the soccer field screaming at everybody to try and get in their heads. Yeah, they called me the screamer. They were like, oh, there's the screamer. So, I mean, I get this. I get using your voice to have an advantage. And in some ways, I very much respect what she did because it was very calculated and effective. Once again, very effective. Let's see. David's laughing. Cowboys laughing too. So is Nameless. Let's go. Cool Cat saying, got to go get my Cardi fix. Yeah, go check it out. Lots of Cardi stuff on Instagram all over the place right now. So awesome. The hoodie, so cute. Cowboys saying, I think Koloko will be fine. I hope so too. In some ways, we should add him to our prayers right now and hope that he just gets better. Shaq Lindsay saying, why do we need so many vets? We only have one rookie prospect, Gradey. The rest might not be on the team next year. Let's make room for Jeff. I'm all about that. I don't know. I don't know why we have so many vets. In some ways, you know what? If Otto doesn't show up and make anything happen in the preseason, should we just cut him and put Jeff in that spot? I don't know. We'll have to see, Shaq Lindsay. I think vets are a good way to go. In some ways, we want to buck the trends in the NBA. The NBA is going into the superstar showcase, more just like on superstars and showing off people like Joel Embiid and Jason Tatum. Well, we were build a FIBA style of game. And we have a FIBA style coach and a more FIBA style of attack. It's totally different than everybody. Everybody's going younger and less vets. Let's go get more vets and go against the trend. In some ways, sometimes you get a lot of momentum and good positive things by going against the trend because you're kind of doing something different than what everybody else is doing. I think we lacked veterans over the years since Serge and Mark left. And now we finally have kind of a veteran core again. And I'm not upset about that. These guys are already paying off. I can see how much Garrett and Thaddeus are really working with the players on the court and in different ways. Garrett Temple in particular. This guy is very, very involved in helping continuity with the coach and what they want with the team. So I really like the veteran presence on the Raptors right now, for sure. And I do want to see Jeff make the team. David saying, I hope so. We need another player capable of breaking Joel's face. Oh my gosh, man. Seymour saying, so we're taking Noel over Flynn and Doughton? I don't know. Well, Flynn, not Noel is two-way, so he's not even in the kind of running. And Flynn's already kind of seems like a made man. So Doughton may be on his way out. Raptor Freak, Randolph Phillips is here. Good morning, beloved Raptor Freaks, most informative gang. Blessings. Lex, I am disgusted with the media that's interviewing our Raptors team. The line of questioning is disturbing. Yeah, I agree with you. It's ridiculous. And they're idiots. I agree with you. Thank you for the blessings, Randolph Phillips, and all the blessings back to you, your family, your friends, and everyone in the Raptor Freak family. David saying, not really, because Flynn and Doughton aren't eligible for the same contract, so not really comparable. That's right. Hang on. Did the little jumpy jump. Thank you for the cutoff, guys. All right. Wayne saying 76ers game against the Nets was a good game. Simmons was working. Don't know about a point guard who's not a scoring threat. Our third string looks better than both their core guys. Yeah, they didn't play any of the main Sixers guys. And it's really weird that Embiid hasn't showed up for Nick yet and played in anything. That's a very worrisome thing for Sixers Nation. In some ways, they understand Harden. He's not going to play. But Embiid not showing up and doing anything in any kind of way in the preseason so far is a really big kind of like, huh? What? They need to get him out there and get him some reps for preseason. It's very interesting. Randolph Phillips is saying, I keep saying that one of the players needs to be outspoken and tell the media to stop creating strife and conflict when there is none. Let us start our own season. That's right. Yeah, I mean, I wish they would be assholes to them. Like seriously, if they don't come correct with their questions, y'all just need to tell them what the fuck are y'all doing. Like Kyle would do this kind of shit. You know, in some ways, Kyle was this kind of guy, and in some ways, we need these guys not to be totally nice. Like Scotty, you know, if you get more comfortable with the press and you feel like they're out of pocket with what they're asking, go ahead and set them straight. Is what I'd like to see, Scotty. You could do that, and you could get away with it. And they could think you're an asshole for it, but we would love you for it. The fans would love you for it. And the press can think you're an asshole. We don't care. Fuck them. You can go ahead and just fucking set them straight. That'd be awesome. A little bit like Lowry used to. I could see that. Cowboys saying, I think Masai is going to make a small move with the roster before the season starts. Nope. I don't think he will. I don't think he will. The small move is going to be cutting people. Those are the moves he's going to be making. He's going to be cutting people. There's not going to be any moves different ways. In some ways, you don't want to screw up what you're building already, Bradley. They've had so much time in training camp with the guys they have right now. They don't want to add a new guy who has to learn everything with them. You're not at the same pace of learning. These guys are all learning at the same time together right now. You bring somebody in now, they're going to be behind the curve, and you don't want to wait for them to catch up. So in some ways, it's not smart. They may do something in the middle of the season, but it won't be before the season right now. It's just going to be roster cuts. Fiercely saying, I'm no Nets fan, but I do appreciate Ben Simmons' attempts to come back. He seemed traumatized last year, would barely approach the paint. Hopefully he keeps it up. Mental health matters for me. There you go, Fiercely, showing some compassion for Ben Simmons. He has looked a lot better in this preseason coming in the season. I'm still a hater, and of course I hate the Nets, but we'll see. We'll see. In some ways, I do like a reclamation story, somebody who comes back from the odds and kind of has been sullied, and they come back and they make their name good again. So, all right, but not at the detriment of the Raptors. And I don't want the Nets to win more than the Raptors do. So that's kind of where I'm at with there. And David's giving the flowers too. Shaq Lindsay saying, our players are experienced and old enough to take leadership roles. We don't need Thad or Garrett. Sign Jeff. No, we need Garrett. Garrett is awesome. Seriously, Garrett's really good. And Thaddeus has been around for a while. If we're going to cut one of the veterans, I want to cut Otto. Seriously. I do. I want to cut Otto. In some ways, I'm like, I don't give a fuck at this point. It is what it is. Fiercely, you just cut your message right before I was going to read it. Cool Cat saying, I love folks underestimate us. Scotty looks like he's improved. Once he's aggressive for an entire game, the trio of Pascal, OG, and Scotty are ready for the playoffs. That's the critical factor missing. There you go. Scotty rising up and being more of a superstar. That's the factor Cool Cat's betting on this year, and I bet on it too. And I know I'm going to see it. Wayne saying super fans should be forever banned in having any opponent's friends, family, or in prime location and going against our team. That is unforgivable and traits of a plant. Forget talk. I value actions. This is hard lining right here, Wayne. In some ways, I can't get behind it. Superfan's an ambassador. In some ways, he needs to have the ability to have anybody come the game, whether they are family of the other team. So I won't agree with this. But I will say that he probably thinks twice about who he's bringing and whether Derozan can happen again. So we won't say that he can't do it, but I'll bet you he vets it a little bit better about the judgment about who he's bringing. He honestly had the best intentions for this. It's a great Raptor. Honestly, DeMar is an important Raptor to our history, and we love him. And he has a connection to Nav. So Nav just thought he was doing a nice thing. DR had her own plans. And like I said, very calculated. She did this shit for Get Back, for the DeRozan family. I'm telling you right now. Let's see. Cowboy saying, and DeMar didn't put her up to it either. It was completely her own plan and her own thing that she made up and figured out and did herself. In some ways, she was smart. Very, very smart. Cowboy saying Raptors win by 13 plus tonight. Okay, that's the prediction from Bradley. He's saying we're going to win at least by 13. I like that. Seymour saying Raps by 11 tonight. Okay, so we'll see a double-digit lead victory for the Raptors tonight. I like those predictions. Country Kong saying, good morning, Raptors freaks. Lex, yesterday, most of my Gradey propaganda was lost due to technical difficulties, but have no fear. Gradey can be elite on offense and has a chance to pass DeMar all the time. Pass DeMar all time? Well, if he has that longevity, holy crap. DeMar's got some pretty high levels in our all-time stats for a franchise. And if Gradey's around that long and he can start getting near DeMar's stats, I'd be very happy about that. I don't know if that's likely, though. Shaq saying sign Thad or Garrett to the coaching staff and make room for Jeff. Bump them up. I mean, that's not a horrible idea, but I don't know. We'll just have to see how they handle this and be prepared for whatever. David saying, laugh out loud. We will. And Seymour saying, I have a fat blunt in my drink for that Sunday special. There you go. Will you be ready for that Sunday special report when I do my Eastern Conference rankings, 9:30 a.m. on Sunday morning? Fun guy saying, I mean, Lex, think about it. Last 3 years, even we had Pascal injuries in which we were down bad even when trying to ease Pascal back. So top 4 is not crazy. I agree with you guys. I don't think it's crazy either. I think that the East is ripe for the picking, and it's not so guaranteed. I'm really starting to form in my head who I think the top Eastern teams are for Sunday's report, but I don't want to give any away of that right now. I will be thinking about it even more in depth and looking at the preseason performances of teams and what's been going on with them, and I'll bring an educated, informed perception and why I ranked the Eastern Conference teams in a way. And I won't sully us. Trust me, I won't. In fact, I'm already going to say when I make this prediction, I will have the Raptors at second, y'all, in the Eastern Conference. When I make this prediction on Sunday, I'll give you that little preview right there. All right, let's see. Seymour's Cowboys giving a dunk to Seymour Pate. All right, Seymour's getting a dunk. Cowboy, you just willy-nilly get to put dunks on everybody. Cowboy saying bull steaks in the cast iron skillet. Yeah, the skillet's out there again. And this time we're cooking up some steaks for David Guthrie and Scott Twardarski. Fiercely saying team chemistry, 100%. They all seem to support each other and get along. I love it. It really does look like the chemistry is off the charts with the Raptors right now. They're all for one for all. They're buying into what Darko, his philosophies are. And it just seems like there's more trust in general around the team. And this is going to really translate on the court. In some ways, that's a big part of the problem was the trust wasn't there between certain people on the team because of certain reasons, selfish reasons. So none of that shit this year. Cut it all out. Just like we got our cutoff right here. I love it. Shaq Lindsay saying, please explain to me how civilians are not going to be killed if Hamas is using them as shields or you are bombing them. What Hamas did was wrong, but 2 wrongs don't make a right. I know. I agree with you, Shaq Lindsay. I mean, in some ways, look, go and find the people that did it. If you think that all the Palestinians are Hamas, that's messed up. That's not true. There's a lot of innocent lives that have nothing to do with this. And even Hamas is an organization that has a lot of push from other countries that are around there, like Syria and Iran. So it's like, you're overkill. It's like you got one little bug in your house and you're going to destroy your whole house to kill that bug. And while you kill that bug, you kill everything else that's living in the house that didn't have anything to do with what happened. I don't think it's right. Two wrongs do not make a right. Country Kong saying, I'm telling you right now, Scotty has to keep improving offensively or Gradey will catch him. Gradey is closer to Steph than Clay because he's mobile and can finish athletically. Scotty may be Draymond. No, don't say Scotty's Draymond. Let's not compare our team to the Warriors. It's kind of futile. But I will say Gradey is looking very good in the open court as a ball handler distributor. It's very interesting how he did that. Like in the last game, he's showing a dribble in the open court and a court vision that I do like. So I do see where you're saying that it seems like he's more like Steph than Clay. I do see that in some ways. And I appreciate y'all's Gradey propaganda. I'm sorry that the comments got cut off and YouTube censored me. It could very well be my criticism of Adonis's new video. Shut me off. Don't talk about Drake's son like that, Lex. Yeah. Let's see. Don't compare Scotty to Draymond. In some ways, Scotty's going to be more like Steph than Gradey will be, really. But not with the shooting outside. Wayne's saying, when is the in-season games? Our team is actually set up to do very well. Malachi in second or third tier should show their quality. Questions on starting with Gary was just overkill, just looking for hype. Yeah, they just need something to ask questions about. I guess that's what it is. So bring out the same old tired tunes from years before about Gary starting or coming off the bench. Our first in-season tournament game is a Friday in November against the Boston Celtics. And Tom Duke will be in town for that. So I'm supposed to go to that game with Tom. So we should be in the building for that game. Very first in-season tournament game. This is going to be so important. We're going to need to make a statement against the Celtics right away and win that one. In some ways, they're going to railroad us and try and make us lose by sending Ed Malloy here. Watch. And they don't want the Celtics to lose their first in-season tournament game to us. So in some ways, they want to set it up. They've done this the last couple of years. They do a little tester on how the Celtics can win in our building, and they've robbed us of games, one game each year in the last 2 years. I was at the game that they robbed us last year. I was with Stevie Roots in the 100 level, and we lost by like 2 points to the Celtics right at the end of the game. I'm telling you, the ref manipulation will be high for this first in-season tournament game against the Celtics, and they're going to want us to lose on our home court to the Celtics to continue. They can press machine media bullshit hype for that team. If they lose to us in the first in-season tournament game, they may be done for the tournament and they may be out. So in some ways, we need to look at it like that. Kind of like Team Canada going into FIBA against France. Well, we had to make a statement by beating France bad in the beginning of the game. We did. Well, in some ways, the Raptors need to do the same thing against a team that may be favored against us. We didn't expect Canada to kick France's ass like that in the first game. So in some ways, we need to do something similar with the Raptors and the Celtics in that one. Yeah, I can see that. Let's see. Fun guy saying, hey, bro, not sure if you know this already, but a day before 9/11, they announced there were trillions of dollars just randomly missing. Laughing my ass off. Next day, the building blows up. Distraction, maybe. I don't know. I don't want to get into 9/11 conspiracy theories too much, but let's just say wars can be manufactured for rich, evil men to make more money. Let's just put it that way. Trevor J saying, Lex, you missed a bunch of comments. I missed a bunch of comments, Trevor J. Oh, can you tell me which ones? In some ways, the comments section have been a real problem because there's a lot of them. I don't have a time limit anymore, so you guys can just fill it up and type and type and type. In some ways, I want to cut some of the garbage out. Let's get really meaty, good questions and statements, and not so much of the garbage, just because there's a lot of time. Cool Cat saying, I have to come to the conclusion that Fred was ready to move on to new opportunities as the direction of the Raptors was not beneficial. Mentored by Lowry and DeMar, he made statement about 6'9" fit many times. Yeah, and this is true. I mean, I made one of my very first content things that I made was, does Fred fit with our future? That was actually like one of my third or fourth things that I ever posted on this channel. You can go look it up. And I talked about how he does, just because he plays bigger than his height. But it is shown over time that he didn't kind of fit with our team. And in some ways, it'll show that we have a better team this year because he's not on it. Monique is saying the Raptors have filed a motion to dismiss the Knicks' ongoing lawsuit against them. Legal filings from Monday's show. Story with Mike and Eric Corrine to come forward next. Yeah, this is great. The Raptors officially put in a request for dismissal of this lawsuit from the New York Knicks, saying that in some ways, some of the stuff that they're saying we stole was actually already ours. Because it's like these are just clips, and it's funny because they can actually say in the package of stuff that we supposedly stole with Azotam, there's actually clips from our broadcast, and we're able to say, well, this is actually proprietarily ours because Matt Devlin is calling the game. And in some ways, you have no rights to this because this is actually literally our broadcast. It's such a frivolous lawsuit. It's going to get tossed out. And this is just the step to say, yeah, this is frivolous, toss it out. And I think most people realize this shit is frivolous. And they even indicate in their statement that they want this to be decided by the private arbitrator of the NBA and Adam Silver. And this is exactly what Adam Silver wants. So this is funny because this case will get thrown out. And if there's any kind of wrongdoing, it'll be decided by Adam Silver in the NBA the way it should have been the whole time. In some ways, this is where the Knicks are going to get in trouble because Adam Silver did not like another team suing another team like this. This has never happened before. And there's a reason, because the NBA doesn't like their team suing each other. So in some ways, this may backfire on James Dolan and MSG because the NBA is pissed at them for doing this. And we're complying and we're listening and we're doing this like, well, we're going to do it the way we're supposed to by our arbitration agreement and let the NBA settle this, instead of getting the judicial system involved when it's unnecessary. So, yeah, it's really interesting. I feel like it's a slam dunk that all the lawsuit filings by MSG will go right out the window, and Adam Silver will take care of this himself, the way it should have been in the beginning. Fiercely saying, be careful with the pepper, Lex. You don't want repercussions tonight. You wait till you get better. Yeah, I'm not messing with that Raptor Freak pepper today. No, I'm not. But maybe there'll be a day where I feel pretty good, and I'll take a bite out of it for you guys. Yeah. I don't want to mess with it. David's laughing about that. Country Con saying, for Lex, Darko's first strike was calling Chris skinny. I understand, but for me, strike one was not catching Gradey from flying into the stands. Catch that kid, Darko. He's the future of our offense. Yeah, I don't want to give Darko strikes for frivolous things like this. I just don't like that he called him skinny. This is a point of contention for Chris for a while. And in some ways, don't do that. I thought he actually said, I thought that Chris is key. I didn't think he said skinny. I thought he said, because his accent, it's hard to understand him sometimes. I swear I heard Darko the first time say, I've learned that Chris is key. But they said Chris is skinny is what they think he said. I thought he said Chris is key, not skinny. So maybe they misheard him and they're promoting the wrong thing that he said and he's misquoted. Because when I first heard him and I listened to it with the headphones so I can hear the questions, it sounded like he said, I've learned that Chris is key, not skinny. But apparently everybody's running with it. He said skinny. It could be that Darko comes around and corrects them. Says, I actually said that he's key, because that's what made sense to me, because what he's done in preseason so far, Chris has shown that he's key to the rebounds and certain things on defense. So I don't know. Maybe I'm the only one who misheard it and I'm wrong. And he did say skinny, but I thought he said Chris is key, not skinny. He also called Gary Larry yesterday. And it's really his accent that may be causing people to misinterpret what he's saying, because he did call Gary Larry, but that was just his accent getting in the way. Let's see. David's saying it's certainly hot on the way out. Yeah, I don't need that right now. I do not need that. MSJ saying, see you, Raptor Freaks. Going to keep my eyes open for some snarky woman, maybe a little skanky too. All right, Chris, good luck with that. And Cool Cat saying DR screaming was at an octave that it actually triggers the brain of fight or flight. It was timed for players releasing the shot, so the arms would reflex and throw it off. Entire team affected. Yep. Yeah, there's something biological in the conditioning of the human body. When you hear a child screaming like that, it has an ancestral pain body to it in some ways. And that can be effective to hurting somebody make a shot. Wayne's saying, if what you say is true, that the NBA has amended the rule regarding the occurrence on the Chicago game last season, that furthers my disgust at Superfan. Lex, DeMar got paid. We owed him nothing. Grow up. I get that, but in some ways I felt bad for him because I'm loyal to him. I still am. I love the guy. I have no things against Demar or his family. In some ways, I don't hate Dr either. In fact, I actually really love her. I think that it's amazing that she did that. This is one of the most impactful non NBA plays ever by a non NBA player on an NBA game. And in some ways, you have to respect that. In some ways, we needed to have a shitty end because if we had some success at the end of our season, Nick might have not gotten fired and we wouldn't have been getting to this good stuff now quickly. So, in some ways, everything in its right order, Wayne. This happened this way and we can't change it. Well, now we have Darko coaching our team. And if DR hadn't done that and we had beaten Chicago and we'd gotten a little further and lost the first round to somebody else, Nick might still have his job right now and we'd have another year of bullshit. So in some ways, everything in its right order and right reason for happening. Sometimes you've got to question why things happen the way they do, but there's a reason and it may actually be a very good thing in the long run. So that's kind of how I look at this. In some ways, thank you, DR, because in some ways we had to fire Nick and you gave us more of a reason to. You really did. So Cool Cat saying, I think the media reporters have to toe the company line, hence the questions and manipulation. Yeah, it could very well be that there's people in charge of Michael Grange and Oren Weisfeld that tell them, you need to do a little like pulling, we want something saucy, get them some controversy, give us something cool, like we can put on the headline, something grabs them. And it may be a little tabloid, a little fucking clickbait. Yeah. A quick take saying big test tonight. Yes, let's beat the Bulls, baby. That's right. Wayne Strainer saying we're going back, which I hate, but the one of the players should have objected. We lost because we're a soft team with nice guys. I love you, Lex, but I would throw out anybody related to you. There's levels to this. I mean, David Saborin has an intense hate for Joel Embiid. And some things scare me about y'all as far as y'all are diehard fans. I love it. And you guys are on the Raptors side. I appreciate that. But in some ways, it's also like we have a reality check. This is still a young 12-year-old girl. And in some ways, we can't be like all out, like, get rid of. I get what you're saying, Wayne, and I respect it in a lot of ways. I do. But I get it. Maybe I'm being too soft. Maybe I'm being too nice. In some ways, they maybe didn't expect this. And it was so caught off guard. It's how do you deal with this? How do you deal with this? Maybe Nick should have said something himself. And that's part of the problem. He's the coach. Maybe he should have said something to the refs, but he didn't. He did not. So I can point fingers at Nick for this. The players aren't going to say anything. In some ways, they're just there to play for their coach. The coach should have said something maybe to the referees. In some ways, Nick's so dialed in on the game, he's not listening or anything. He said after the game he didn't even realize she was screaming. That's because Nick doesn't listen to anything else. He's just so focused on the game. He doesn't hear Joel Embiid yelling at him, making fun of him. He doesn't hear Derozan screeching in the corner. So in some ways, we can blame Nick. Cool Cat saying Dr was just competing for her dad. She wanted her dad to win badly. That's okay. We have moved on. Dr got revenge on Raptors for hurting her dad. I completely agree with Cool Cat. She wanted revenge, and she got it at 12 years old. It's amazing. Prayers for Coloco. I love that, Fiercey. Kareem saying Dr knew. Hang on. Kareem is saying Dr knew she was being effective. I'm sure she would have stopped if the Raptors weren't shitting on the free throws. She's a great competitor, just like her dad. Yeah, it took a lot of guts for her to do that, too. After a while doing that, people around her hated her. And she was getting a lot of negative energy from people around her, I'm sure. But she still had the guts to do it. So in some ways, I respect that. Seriously, even though it hurt us. Let's see. Fiercely saying at Shaq Lindsay agreed with the take on the vets. Currently, I do see the value of having Temple as he seems to be Darko on the court. That is playing well so far. Sadly, Otto doesn't bring value for now. If he can come back and hit threes and be an extra shooter, he will. But otherwise, I get it. I don't want to just pay him to stay at home. I'd rather waive him, and we still have to pay him, but at least he won't be holding a roster spot from somebody else. Randolph saying, Lex, that child will never do that ever again. The backlash and outrage that was directed to her will cause her parents to be more protective. It could be mentally disturbing for her. Yeah, DeMar did not like this. He did not like that his daughter was more famous all of a sudden. And he very much will protect her. He's a dad. He's going to tell her right straight up, you can never do that again, ever. And if she's a good daughter and listens to her dad, she will listen to him. And I think that's what's going to happen. I think that Raptors fans shouldn't be worried about a Derozan number 2. This is the kind of thing is never going to happen again. Once again, we got a very weird, singular, unique experience with Derozan in our playing game. And it will never, ever happen again, partly because DeMar will forbid it from ever happening again. What did he say after that happened? She can't fly to Miami and go to the game against Miami. She's not allowed. She's not allowed. So I'm telling you right now, DeMar's a good father. He wants to protect his daughter. He's not going to put her on blast like Drake's putting his son on blast. He wants to hide her. So we're not going to hear about DeAr DeRozan anything ever again until she's old enough and she's an adult and she's living her own life. Yeah. Wayne's saying, wrong, Lex. Sixers played their main guys, just Embiid and Harden missing. Yeah, I know. What I'm saying is they didn't play Embiid and Harden, and they haven't played them in the preseason at all yet. Joel has not taken the court for the Sixers yet this preseason, and that's telling to me in some ways. Wayne's saying Maxey left early injured, but I don't know how bad. So that's good. They beat the Nets with a pretty good team. They've lost 2 games to the Celtics so far this preseason. They finally won this game. You know, in some ways, I am keeping track of how Philly does. And also keeping track of what Harden's doing and also Embiid on the download. There are things with Embiid that may not be sorted out with Nick completely. And that may be part of the problem going on for them going forward. Kareem saying, I love when Lex calls Michael Grange a fucking piece of shit. The passion and charisma behind those words, I always feel them. It's a real thing. I really do not like Michael Grange. And yeah, it's a lot of reasons. There's a lot of reasons why I don't like him. David has gifted a membership to Kubron. Kubron's one of the people that have come in and been around us at times. Kubron, good to see you're watching us today. All the best to Kubron, giving a gifted membership from David. This is the best way to find people hiding in the chat. Yeah, Kubron's in here hiding. Kubron's not bad. I mean, I've seen him in other places really talk out of his ass and crazy. And in some ways, I don't know what he's doing with Robert and those people. But Kubron, welcome. And I go ahead, comment with us. Talk to us, baby. Yeah. Wayne's saying, trying to stay away from non-basketball. However, Hamas was nurtured by the Israeli government, facts, to create friction between the PLO, which was secular, and Hamas, a tyrannical hardline cohort blowback. There's so many different entities in this whole thing. It's a really weird chess game. And in some ways, Israel support for the Western world is to keep a foothold for Western world interests in that area of the world. That's the whole part of the whole idea of establishing that place in some ways. That is a byproduct of it that the U.S. really liked. Let's just put it that way. In some ways, the imperialism of the United States is symbolized in the state of Israel. And in some ways, this is part of the problem. You know, you got Iran, Syria, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, all these different countries around this area. And they all have vested interests on certain sides doing certain things and having certain things. And Iran and Syria will help Hamas. And then meanwhile, the Western world's helping Israel. And it's a very interesting, weird conflict. There's a lot to it. And I agree with you. Sometimes these people want boogeymen that are manufactured so that they can start the war machine, so that they can make the war profits off the equipment having to be used and sold by the companies that sell them. And then also give me a reason, basically. Oh, you're looking at my girl. Yeah, bam. I wasn't even looking at your girl. Well, it seemed like you were looking at my girl. Bam. You know, it's that kind of bullshit. It's like, give me a reason. Israel wanted a reason to wipe the city of Gaza off the map. And well, manufactured reason, a little bit of leaving the door open to allow something really awful and horrific to happen. I can see that. Seriously. Then maybe they're waiting. They're like, oh, I wish Hamas would attack us so we could just have a reason. Seriously. Let's see. Wayne's saying, he said skinny, nothing malicious. I know normally it isn't, but as a guy myself, like Chris, who had really hard time putting weight on my body in my adult life, I have more weight in my 40s than I used to. It can be hurtful. Let's just put it that way. It can be hurtful. Quick Takes is saying Chris is key. I thought that's what he said, not skinny. I thought Chris is key. But they think he said Chris is skinny. I don't think that's what he said. I think he said Chris is key. Go back and watch that interview, seriously, and see what you think Darko said. I thought the first time I heard it sounded like he said Chris is key. I've learned that Chris is key, not Chris is skinny. That's stupid. He knew Chris was skinny before he met him. All right, let's see. Monique is saying 1 week tomorrow is the Raptors home opener, and I'm booking my ride. So happy. W Stream, Lex, keep at it always. Good times. Go Raptors. I love you, Monique. Have a great week leading up to it. Yeah. Wayne's saying, guys, I have no problem with DeMar's daughter. It's rightly on Nick Nurse. There we go. Now we come right back around to the right place. Jan's saying, let's go Raps. Let's slump on the Bulls tonight. Probably got get a couple of dick splashes from Gradey too. Okay, phrasing, Jan. Dick splashes. Oh, Jan. Oh my gosh, you went there. All right, Kareem's saying, of course, Chris is skinny. You don't see how much that man burns calories sprinting up and down the court. Chris's nickname is Beep Test. What? W Stream, I'm out. All right, thank you, Kareem. All right, and on that note, let's. I know I might have missed some comments, Trevor, but I don't know where they were. All right, just real quick recap. I have no idea who's going to actually sit today. I'm pretty sure Otto, Christian, and Jakob are out for sure today for the Raptors. Precious is a maybe. Everybody else is good. On the Bulls side, I have no idea who they're going to rest possibly, but it seems like they may play their main guys and have the regular Bulls lineup. So expect a real head-to-head matchup between the Raptors and the Bulls tonight, with our best players out there for the most part, maybe lacking Jakob, Christian, and possibly Precious and Otto also for sure. So, and then our referees today are David Guthrie, Scott Twadarski, and Intue Huang. And Intue Huang, we don't have any records with him. He's a brand new ref, very, very new. Scott Twadarski is historically for the Bulls, and David Guthrie is historically for us. So, yeah, there's you go. All right, let's do the main event marquee matchup. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the United Center in Chicago, Illinois, USA. Tonight, we have a special competition between two young people. This will be a screeching contest. That's right. First of all, we have for the home team, brought out by her father, 6'6", 220 pounds from Compton, California. It is the Debo DeMar DeRozan, and he is the manager for the competitor today in the screeching contest is his daughter, 13-year-old daughter, 12-year-old daughter, DR DeRozan. Now coming out to the ring to compete on the side for the Toronto Raptors, the visitors, coming out with the manager from London, UK, England, 6'7", 232 pounds. It is Mr. OG Anunoby. And once again, OG is coming out with a young, small owl. That's right. He has got at 1 foot tall, 2.5 pounds, a barn owl that will be screeching against DR DeRozan in this screeching contest. Who will win? The barn owl with OG wearing the falconer gear once again, with the little barn owl on his hand, with the little hat over its head. And when you take the hat off its head, it starts screeching. Who's going to win, DR or the little barn owl? We'll have to find out next time on the main event marquee matchup. Let's go. Let's get ready to screech and dribble. All right, infamous. Salute Freak. DeMar and the center are resting. All right, they're saying DeMar and the center are resting tonight. Let's get the latest news from the injury report. Let's see what's up. I don't see it yet. But if you're telling me the truth, you think that DeMar and Nikola will not be playing tonight? We'll have to see if that's true. We'll have to see. Let's see. Salute, Andrew Gutierrez. Thank you for coming in and saying hi at the end of my stream, y'all. Thanks for watching me. Let's go Raptors. Tonight, let's get some get back. Seriously, this game means a little bit more than the other preseason games. This is a bad taste in our mouth from last year, the way we went out. Well, let's get a little bit of get back right now. Mr. Wayne Barnes, Mr. OG Anunoby, Mr. Pascal Siakam. Let's get out there and get a little get back. So this game does matter, y'all. And for damn sure, make your damn free throws tonight. Oh, yeah, make your free throws tonight just to make it feel better. Every single one of those free throws go in there. And if you see DR at the court side, make them and look at her afterwards. That's right. Stare her down. Make the free throw and look at her afterwards. Make the free throw, look at her afterwards. That's what I want to see today. That's right. Let's get ready to dribble, y'all. Everybody have a great day from Canadian Cowboy. I love it, Fierce. See, she's got the gloves up, baby. Let's go, Dennis Schroeder. Let's go, Gary Trent Jr. Let's go get a W tonight at the United Center against the Chicago Bulls. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching me. We'll react tomorrow. And you know what I'm going to say right now. Say it with me in your house. Let's go, Raptors! Let's